he was trying
Test
to
one.
cross the road, but he was not in the crosswalk. As the man was lying in the roadway, another vehicle ran into him. The victim was pronounced dead at the scene.
Today?
The first driver stayed behind to cooperate with police officers. In his case, they do not believe speed or impairment were factors.
Who did you
Officers are
did?
still on the lookout
Oh,
for
with the
second
question?
driver.
Oh, look, they figured it out.
That driver has not
Oh,
been
because Chino
identified.
left.
Anyone who knows anything is asked to contact the Bakersfield Police Department.
Did you move?
Police and other first responders
You moved your
checked out
truck?
what looks like a fatal pedestrian crash on Union Avenue and Bernard Street.
No, but they
Happened
can't.
Monday
No,
night.
they were
We will
inside
have
it.
more
No,
details
not
from
locked
police.
like the car.
A bill to ban products containing PFAS or forever chemicals passed the state
Why can't
Senate
you just
by
put it in
narrow
neutral
vote.
and roll it
Against
out?
the governor
That I don't know.
Newsom's
That's
desk.
probably
Products
why
covered
it
would
wasn't
include
so
non-stick
long. They
pans
probably
containing
should've just-
Teflon. Bill supporters say the ban
They
would
tried to
eliminate
do
risk
it,
of
and I don't
internal
think they
organ
can watch
problems
it.
and
You're
cancer
gonna
that
tell
come
if
with
those
use of
fucking
products.
wheels turn.
I'm Bill Robbins in the
If they turn
KERN
by themselves,
newsroom
they
with
go
news
real
every
big,
half hour
they'll
when it
see
breaks on
there's
News
something
Talk
that they're sucking
96.1 and
They say
AM
lots.
1180 KERN.
What do you think, this is the army where you shoot them a mile away? You gotta
It
get them
took them
close
long
like this.
enough.
Let 'em see you
Jesus.
blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180
Now
KERN.
make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good afternoon to you, wherever you may be, however you may be listening, or however you may be viewing for those subscribing on YouTube. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Tuesday, 16th day of September. Chris Burdick has returned from his incredible Vegas journey, where he and Mr. Flores got to broadcast live from Sin City, got to view the ball game, go into the clubhouse. Chris even asked a question where Pete's answer showed up on SportsCenter.
I even got to ask Gino a question off the record while we were walking away.
I don't even know why you would give him. I wouldn't even talk to that knucklehead.
Oh, you're gonna like the question
Good
I asked.
Google it, Mowgli. Same old Raiders. Defense played fairly well. No running game because we've given away one of the best running backs in football to Green Bay. No really go-to guy because we gave away Dante Adams, who's scoring touchdowns for the Rams. Same old Raiders. We've time, we'll get into that. Rick Bentley's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Teresa Goldner is under the weather, so to speak. So we're going to talk about, obviously, I'm sure you've heard, the death of Robert Redford, Charles Robert Redford Jr., to be specific, the movie maker and film actor, passed away at the age of 89 in his Utah home. We'll talk about that. Kamala Harris is returning to the scene of the crime. I don't know why I made this a part of the show, but she's going on The View a week from today. You all have to watch it. You got to watch this. I mean, isn't it ironic that she's going back to the place that really single-handedly destroyed her campaign and any opportunity she had of being president of the United States when Sonny Austin asked her, if you had anything to do differently, what would it be? And this failed presidential candidate said, nothing. I can't think of a thing. You know, because the border is secure and the 150 troops on the Ukrainian border will never invade Ukraine because Joe said don't. No, there's nothing I'd change. No, okay. We'll talk about that a little bit. We've got some fair facts for you. The Great Kern County Fair begins tomorrow, so we'll talk about that.
We do have tickets to give away as well.
Outstanding. And as we mentioned, the Raiders failed, as did the Dodgers. And I'm willing to bet every nickel I have that you can guess how the Dodgers lost. I bet you can guess. It's one word: bullpen. The secret is out. Let me tell you something. I hate to tell you this, we have no chance of winning the World Series. No chance whatsoever. The bottom of the lineup still sucks and is filled with guys hitting in the hundreds. No team wins a World Series with their left fielder hitting $189 and Hall coming off the bench hitting $190 and our backup catchers hitting $143. It can't be done. And every time the word is out in the league that all you got to do is it doesn't even matter if you get to the 8th or 9th inning. It doesn't matter if you get to 8 2/3 inning of no-hit ball. All you got to do is get to their bullpen, and the game is OVA. It is an embarrassment. We thought that Alex Vesia was the answer. He came in and gave him a home run. Blake Trinan can't find the plate, and when he does, bam, to the moon, Alice. It is really hard to watch Dodger baseball. I didn't watch the game. I just turned it when the Raider game was over, and literally, they were throwing the pitch to Andy Paez that he hit the 9th inning to tie it, and I stuck around for the 10th inning, and I don't know why, because I told myself, why? They're going to blow it, and they did. So we're in deep trouble. We'll talk about that a little bit, I suppose. And Dan Marino has got some health issues that I want to talk about, because it is amazing to me that he has liver damage, because as I told you, I had a recent blood test and my liver is fine. And that's how you discover these things. And Marino's problem didn't get diagnosed for a while, meaning that he had not seen a doctor in a while. I cannot believe Dan Marino's my age, if not a bit older, a bit younger. I'm not sure. I know he's in his 60s, but that's amazing to me. The man with that kind of wealth isn't seeing a physician on the regular. And we try to talk about this as often as we can. It doesn't matter, particularly after 50, you have got to see a physician 2, 3, 4 times a year. It's just insane that men let these things get out of control. And, who knows? We pray for Mr. Marino. We'll talk about his death, possible death. What am I talking about? I have no idea what I'm talking about. But we begin, of course, with the DA in Utah seeking the death penalty for the shooter in the Charlie Kirk assassination. I don't know what else to call it. And we've got some really, really strong audio. Why don't we go ahead and take a break now? We can have a long segment. I can get all of this audio in before Mr. Bentley joins us and we take a sharp turn and talk entertainment. And I neglected to mention 2 other guests. Meg Matlin is going to join us from the California Living Museum. As you've probably heard, they're expanding the property out there. So we'll talk with her. And then in the 5, Clayton Campbell is a late addition to the program. He's going to talk about the 7 counts against the Kirk shooter. I don't want to mention his name, to be honest with you, but he's facing aggravated murder, felony discharge of a firearm causing serious bodily harm, 2 counts of obstruction of justice, 2 counts of witness tampering, and 1 count of commission of a violent offense in the presence of a child, which is a new charge I've never even heard of. I mean, aren't mass shootings all occur in front of a child? These school shootings, etc. We'll talk about that, though, in the 5 with Clayton Campbell. Taking an early break so we can get started. We got some incredible audio. The DA broke the case down and read text messages from the shooter to his roommate / boyfriend / girlfriend. It's pretty amazing stuff. We'll play that for you when we come back. Don't go anywhere. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Tuesday right here on Newstalk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
King Door Company continues to set the standard in the garage door industry, and I'm here to tell you a few of the reasons why. First off, King Door carries Clopay garage panels and LiftMaster openers, so you're guaranteed quality and reliability well beyond the reach of most garage door companies, and it just gets better from there. King Door has a fleet of fully stocked service trucks with all the parts and tools to handle any job quickly and efficiently, and those trucks are manned by the most knowledgeable technicians anywhere. They have all the technical experts.
Hey, you hear me? We got Messmaker right here.
Okay.
Committed to training that they have the King Door Academy, a full-size, state-of-the-art classroom right on the premises with all the latest teaching aids, including working garage doors to simulate any installation, repair, or technique. Your garage door is a very important part of the safety, security, and look of your home, so don't trust it to anyone but King Door Company. Call them today at 397-2744, stop by the showroom at 7450 District Boulevard, or check them out online at kingdoor.com. King Door Company, your company with the pride of a lion. You're listening to the
As we've talked about all week, we are waiting to see what Jerome Powell is going to do. There are expectations that he may drop Fed rates by the end of the week. So it'll be important to talk with our money man, Daniel Petrie, on Thursday at 4:30, as we do each and every week. And you know what Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors are all about. Not only wealth advising, but retirement. And if it's staring you in the mug, call Daniel at 395-9400, 395-9400. Again, I try to be redundant about this message. I got with Daniel about 8-9 years ago, and it's the smartest financial move I've ever made. As an older man, I don't want to rely simply on my 401k, simply on Social Security. So I've divested with Messmaker Petrie Wealth Advisors. Call Daniel today, again, at 395-9400, 395-9400, or just keep it locked. Thursday, 4:30, when Daniel joins us live via the Rogers Brandon Global Telephone Number, right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
This broadcast is for informational purposes only. Does not constitute a solicitation or offer to buy or sell any security, future option, or other financial instrument, or to offer or provide any investment advisory or other services to any person in any jurisdiction by Daniel Petrie or MPWA Inc., DBA Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. Any views expressed in this broadcast by us are prepared based upon the information available to us at the time, and we are under no obligation to update our views.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips that you plan in advance, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends for which you make a group chat 3 months before so that nobody or anything is missing? Or your daughter's first birthday party. You planned with such dedication that instead of the first, it felt like our 15s. The same way you plan each detail for those moments. Start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Got things done.
Sleeping on the job. Those raindrops are falling on my head. They keep falling. But as one thing I know. The music today will be dedicated to the late Charles Robert Redford Jr. That was the theme song to, or one of the songs played in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. In fact, it's an interesting story. We might talk about this with Mr. Bentley. Redford thought it was going to be a bomb because there weren't Westerns with music in them before. You know, I guess Cat Ballou, but that was a comedy. This was a serious drama about two real gangsters. And he thought the fact that there was that bicycle scene with Catherine Ross, and it was all music and no conversation, no dialogue, he thought that this could not be a good movie and didn't expect it to do well. And in fact, it's one of the movies that catapulted him into great fame. Meantime, in Orem, Utah, the district attorney there, Jeff Gray, did an unbelievable job in really making his case. It sounded more like a opening statement of a trial than it did a press conference. But some of the details that he got into in terms of how the parents found out about it, how the boy felt at the time, confessing allegedly to his boyfriend and roommate. We begin with the DA's allusions to the parents.
Robinson's mother stated that the following to police. On September 11th, 2025, the day after the shooting, Robinson's mother saw the photo of the shooter in the news and thought the shooter looked like her son. Robinson's mother called her son and asked him where he was. He said he was at home sick and that he had also been at homesick on September 10th. Robinson's mother expressed concern to her husband that the suspect shooter looked like Robinson. Robinson's father agreed. Robinson's mother explained that over the last year or so, Robinson had become more political and had started to lean more to the left, becoming more pro-gay and trans rights oriented. She stated that Robinson began to date his roommate, a biological male who was transitioning genders. This resulted in several discussions with family members, but especially between Robinson and his father, who have very different political views.
To say the least. And what does a parent do when you suddenly find out that your son is in a daze? I mean, mentally, this guy doesn't know whether he's gay, whether he's homosexual, whether he's heterosexual. Is his boyfriend a boy? Is he's transitioning into a woman? And now you're having conflicts with your parents. Here is more from the DA in terms of what the alleged shooter was thinking.
In one conversation before the shooting, Robinson mentioned that Charlie Kirk would be holding an event at UVU, which Robinson said was a stupid venue for the event. Robinson accused Kirk of spreading hate. Robinson's father reported that when his wife showed him the surveillance image of the suspected shooter in the news, he agreed that it looked like their son. He also believed that the rifle that police suspected the shooter used matched a rifle that was given to his son as a gift. As a result, Robinson's father contacted his son and asked him to send a photo of the rifle. Robinson did not respond. However, Robinson's father spoke on the phone with Robinson. Robinson implied that he planned to take his own life. Robinson's parents were able to convince him to meet at their home. As they discussed the situation, Robinson implied that he was the shooter and stated that he couldn't go to jail and just wanted to end it.
Can you imagine? You've got to talk your son off the ledge of suicide. You bring him to the house after talking him off the ledge, and you find out that he's an assassin. Here's more from the DA.
When asked why he did it, Robinson explained there is too much evil and the guy, referring to Charlie Kirk, spreads too much hate.
So not only has he confessed, but he's given a motive that this was clearly a hate crime, that he was targeting Charlie Kirk. And we have to go through these basics that we all know, but you know, he has to build this case as if we didn't know anything about it, which is going to be interesting to try to find a jury in Utah. I'm sure one of the first things the defense is going to ask for is a change of venue. We'll talk about this in the 5 with defense attorney Clayton Campbell. But now here come two really, I thought, fascinating bites. These are the communications between the shooter and the roommate / boyfriend.
After reading the note, the roommate responded, "What?"
Oh, let me stop. I should preface this with the shooter had sent the boyfriend / roommate the following text, quote, "Drop what you're doing. Look under my keyboard." The roommate looked under the keyboard and found a note that read, I have the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it. I apologize. I should have prefaced that with this. So that's what he texts the boyfriend. And look how 21st century these kids are. This kid is in a world of hell, and he's reaching out to his boyfriend, and they're texting. They're not even having a phone conversation. They're texting. And at this point, as you'll hear in these communiques, this kid doesn't think he's going to jail. He's worried about let me let you hear it. Again, remember, he's already texted the boyfriend and said, look under my keyboard, there's a note there. The boyfriend looks under the keyboard, finds a note that says, I have the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it. Here's what follows.
After reading the note, the roommate responded, what? You're joking, right? Robinson, I am still okay, my love, but am stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you. Roommate, you weren't the one who did it, right? Robinson, I'm sorry. Roommate, I thought they caught the person. Robinson, no, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering. Roommate, why? Robinson, why did I do it? Roommate, yeah. Robinson, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence.
That is simply amazing. We've never had an assassin or a mass shooter leave this kind of evidence, this kind of discussion, where he's talking about he was going to go back to the woods and retrieve the rifle that he left. And final, listen to how cavalier this kid is, how this kid thinks he's going to get away with this, and listen to what his concern is. His concern isn't he's going to be shot on sight. His concern isn't that he's going to get caught and go literally in the state of Utah in front of a firing squad. Listen to what this kid's concern is.
Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it. Roommate, how long have you been planning this? Robinson, a bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there is a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it. Robinson again, I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle.
I'm worried about what the old man will do if I don't bring back Grandpa's rifle. Son, you're going before a firing squad, literally. They're going to shoot you to death. Grandpa's rifle is going to be fine, but you're going to meet the very same death that your target did. And I honestly, I've heard that 2 or 3 times, and I don't even know what to make of that. That this kid was sitting somewhere watching television and watching the police presence, was going to go back into the woods and try to retrieve the rifle, was going to and fro from his parents' house, talking about suicide, and then worried about the rifle. And people don't think that this is about mental health. A 22-year-old who had a scholarship to college, who had a decent job and future as an electrician, came from a good family, and he's worried about returning Grandpa's rifle. No sense of remorse. No sense of, oh my God, what have I done? And what is my very short future going to look like? He's concerned about grandpa's rifle. I think we are spiraling out of control, and I don't think there's any cure to this anytime soon. I think there is more political violence on the way, and the only way I can predict that is history. We've got to look in the mirror and realize this is who we are, whether it's 1865 or 1960 or 1968 or 1981 or name any date in the 21st century. Political violence is a part of American democracy. And now it is so retarded, so warped, that killers are now heroes. Luigi Mangione has over $1 million donated to him. Hundreds of people have lost their jobs for reveling in the death of Charlie Kirk. We have met the enemy, and he is us. Quick time out. We'll talk about Robert Redford with Rick Bentley next.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Hello, sir.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Authorities in Utah have shared information indicating the 22-year-old suspect in the fatal shooting of conservative Charlie Kirk did a fair amount of planning ahead of time. Tyler Robinson appeared Tuesday before a judge on aggravated murder and other charges. The prosecutor earlier said he would file a notice to seek the death penalty. Parents of teenagers who died by suicide after interacting with AI chatbots are testifying before Congress. Parents of 16-year-old Adam Rain of California and 14-year-old Sewell Setzer of Florida were speaking at a Senate hearing about the dangers of AI chatbots. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 125 points, the Nasdaq dropped 14, the S&P lower by 8. More details at srnnews.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins. Cal State University Bakersfield assistant basketball coach Kevin Mays is facing child pornography charges. According to court documents, Mays had over 600 child sex abuse images on his cell phone, some with girls as young as 4 years old. Investigators report that they have discovered a total of 3,000 images. A bill to ban products containing PFAS or forever chemicals passed the state Senate by a narrow vote and heads to Governor Newsom's desk. Products covered would include nonstick pans containing Teflon. Bill supporters say the ban would eliminate risk of internal organ problems and cancer that come with use of the products. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Had a wonderful time this weekend at Robbie and April Pratt's beautiful, gorgeous, unbelievable wedding. But afterwards, I still had to drop in with my good friend
Thanks
Mike
for coming in.
Perry at
Appreciate
KC Steakhouse. You know, they have a new happy hour that starts at 9, and Liz and Megan will hang out with you as long as people are there.
So what's your favorite?
It's not going to be till 2 o'clock in the morning, but and of course, Jimmy and Bobby are live with music Tuesday through Saturday.
Okay.
And we even jumped
Whatever you
over
want to
the
do.
Stockyard
Whatever you want to do.
minutes,
Yeah,
say
whatever
hi
you
to
want to do.
Haley. She's the regular bartender next door at the Speakeasy type bar. And I keep encouraging you guys after dinner or maybe even before dinner, try it out. Listen to Lottie or Vanessa.
I know.
Two of the girls.
He's rarely in a bad film.
Fridays and Saturday nights.
I mean, I vibe just memory of movies that I've seen. I was able to get like 15, and then I went on Wikipedia and I was like, "Ooh, I forgot about Out of Africa. I forgot about Sneakers. I forgot about just so many pictures
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. $5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000.
Yeah.
That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash.
And a damn good director.
I use Upside every time I fill up.
Damn
I've already
good
made around
director.
$200-$300.
I think the only
gas in your
two,
car anyway. Why not get
I guess
real
three.
cash back? If you like free money,
Clint,
download Upside.
him,
I'm saving the
and
cash I earn
Carson.
from using Upside to help pay for a vacation
You
later
think
this
another
year.
actor is a good
Download the
director?
free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy
De
gas.
Niro,
Use promo code
I didn't
PARTY5
like the
to
way
get
he
up to
shot
a
Bern's
$5
tail.
bonus on your first
I
take.
thought it was
You
weird
can
the way
cash
he
out
shot Bern's
anytime
tail.
right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code PARTY5
Yeah, that's what I
to
was
get up
just
to a
thinking.
$5 bonus on your first
Yeah.
take. That's code PARTY5 to
Uh-huh.
get up to a $5 bonus on your first take.
I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR PM. Now, back to
Yeah,
the Ralph
that's all
Bailey Show
I could come up
on
with.
News Talk 9780 KERN.
Teresa Goldner is under the weather. And so coming up in the 5 o'clock, we're going to talk about the situation in Orem, Utah, the killer of Charlie Kirk with defense attorney Clayton Campbell. But we've asked our entertainment reporter, Rick Bentley, to join us on his day off. We'll be back with us on Friday. We certainly hope, but obviously we're here to talk about the life and times of one of the greatest entertainers, Mr. Charles Robert Redford Jr.
Yep.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bentley.
Glad to be here.
Thank you, sir. We really appreciate it.
Santa Monica native.
Went to Van Nuys High School.
Yep.
Went to Vice. Do you know what Dodger he went to high school with? Got to think 50s now.
Don Drysdale.
Nice. How the hell you knew that the whole time, and you did an Academy Award performance.
Thank you.
Let me think, Ralph. Let me see if I can pull this. Don Drysdale. Like, come on, who are you fooling? Nicely done.
It's my job to know this.
Yes,
stuff.
it is.
Well, here's a question back to you.
Yes.
How many acting Oscars did Robert win?
0.
0.
He won 1 as a director
Yeah.
for one of my favorite movies of all time, Ordinary People.
Yeah, it's
Great picture with
amazing.
Donald Sutherland, Mary Tyler Moore, and a very young Timothy Hutton.
Yeah, it's one of those films that stays with you after you've seen it. It's jarring. It's great. It's emotional.
And I never thought I could see Mary Tyler Moore as that character.
Yeah.
Because she was a god-awful human being.
Yeah.
She really was. She was mean to her husband. She was mean to the child.
Which I think you have to credit the director.
Yeah.
For getting that performance out of her, because we know she could handle the sweet stuff.
Right. That's her whole career.
Yeah. And so to be known for that, and then she has to go against the norm.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that can kill your career. So
A mother who doesn't like her son.
Her son, right? I mean,
that's
it's
crazy.
Yeah. But I thought we'd look. We could go on. We could talk for days about all his movies. I put together a quick list of what I consider the top 10 performances.
Okay.
These are probably not his best pictures, but they're what I consider the ones that just resonate with me and stayed with me. So I want to start with, we're going away from films for half a second for something we've talked about in the past, and it was his appearance on The Twilight Zone.
Yes.
From 1962.
Nothing in the Dark.
Nothing in the
was
Dark.
the episode.
He co-stars Gladys Cooper
Mm-hmm.
as an elderly woman who has avoided death for years and years, and he plays a young
Police officer
at the door trying to convince her to let him in. Redford was doing a lot of little TV that he was doing Perry Mason and Dr. Kildare and stuff. I mean, he was beginning his career, but I really feel like if you look at that episode, you see all that potential that he's going to be a great leading man, not only because of his looks, but because he could act.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just for a Twilight, for a TV show, it was an amazing piece of work.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely agree.
And then I'm going to go to number 9, which is sort of maybe a little bit of a cheat, but that's Barefoot in the Park.
It's my favorite rom-com.
Okay, from 1963.
Chris, get in here, pay attention, please. Tell him what format of motion pictures does Ralph Bailey like?
The Ralph Bailey motion picture.
Yes.
Begins with boy meets girl.
They get married at the beginning.
Right.
Boy loses girl.
They end up talking about getting divorced.
Boy realizes he can't live without the girl and tries to get her back.
He gets drunk as hell and walks barefoot in the park.
And they get back right before the credits roll.
And he's walking on the ceiling or on the roof of the house. She comes and gets him, and they get back together 10 minutes before the credits roll. No, that's it. No, that's it. That's it. That is the Bailey rom-com. And it's a Neil Simon play that he did, as a matter of fact, without Jane Fonda.
That's why I was saying that I kind of cheated a little bit because he had done that role on Broadway.
Yeah.
So he kind of brought that performance. He already had that performance in his pocket. But it's still, again, I love that film.
Yes, and the performances by Charles Boyer and her mother, who I believe is Helen Hayes. No, it's not Helen Hayes. Who plays her mother, the older woman? Anyway, and the guy that plays Murray on The Odd Couple plays the telephone repairman. And that's a great scene where they're fighting and he's coming in to fix the phone and he's like nervous because they're fighting. I mean, it's one of my favorite all-time pictures. It really is.
And I think that's a testament to both the performances, but also Neil Simon's writing.
Absolutely.
He is. If you go back and just read his work, it reads so beautifully. So yeah. But anyway, that makes number 9 for me.
That's a great choice.
Number 8, we mentioned Ordinary People.
Yeah.
And I put that there because he did win his only Oscar for that film.
And it's not an easy film to watch on so many different levels. There are other characters beyond the main characters that are in trouble mentally in this film as well.
But I've always said, if you don't react to a film, whether it be I felt joy for it, I fell in love with it, I was uncomfortable watching it, then it wasn't a good film.
It didn't move you.
If you just sit there and it kills 2 hours, it didn't do anything it was supposed to.
Yeah.
And this one, I defy you to watch that film and walk away from it anytime quickly.
Yeah.
It will stay with you. It is just hauntingly great.
I agree. I agree. Absolutely.
All right. Number 7, The Candidate.
God, you're killing it. I love that picture.
1972.
I love Peter Boyle.
Peter Boyle
plays the guy that's going to make the son of a longtime governor, Mervyn Douglas, who's brilliant in the film as well.
Right.
He's a kind of a hippie lawyer who doesn't really want to follow in his dad's footsteps. And Peter Boyle comes and says, look, you've nothing to lose. And he says, why? Because you're going to lose. So you can say anything you want.
Yeah.
And that's when Redford sides on. And as they say in Hollywood, that's where the hijinks begins.
Yeah. And not only is it a great film if you just watch it, but it gave me, I thought, a lot of insight into politics.
Absolutely.
Sort of how that game is played. And so it really was pulling back the curtain a little bit.
Yes.
So, but it works that way. And although it was, it's 50 years old or more than 50 years old, I think the politics of it and everything, you could pull people out, put people in and say, oh, I get what this was going on.
It still resonates to today. You could play that. You could do that same script and film it today, and it would still be a great picture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My number 6 would have been higher, but there are 5 better.
Yeah.
And so it's 3 Days of the Condor.
Another great picture.
It's
another great picture.
He plays just a regular CIA analyst who comes into work one day, and what happens? Everybody's
been murdered. He sneaks out the back. The murderer is waiting for everybody to get into the building. And he's standing outside waiting for everybody to get the building. And Redford has to get lunch. And there's a secret back passage for him to go. He goes out that way. The murderer thinks everybody's inside. They kill everybody. And then they realize that there's one guy still alive. And again, as they say, that's where the hijinks begins. And it's the whole film of the murderers chasing him and him meeting Faye Dunaway.
And not knowing who to trust.
Right.
Because even he didn't know who in the CIA was involved. And and I'm convinced that all the current spy stories and everything built off of that.
Yeah.
That just the tension and he wasn't a trained, guy to work in the field. But he had to step up.
Right.
So we've seen that with a lot of other characters.
It's a bit of a Casablanca, Chinatown movie for me because I've seen it at least 15, 20 times. And I still don't understand who's on what side and what, and why did they kill everybody? And but it's still a great film.
Yeah. Well, if you can watch it that many times and still have questions,
Yeah,
it's got your interest.
it does.
It's
It's one of those films. Everyone you've mentioned so far is one of those films that when it comes on Turner Classic Movies, I either DVR it or I watch it in its entirety.
Yeah, and that's sort of what went into my thinking as trying to eliminate and get down to 10 with him is
Yeah,
just
it's tough. It's very
impossible.
tough. Yeah.
But these are the films that if I'm going along like you, and
Yeah.
and I realize when I've stopped, it's now 30 minutes later, I'm still
Mhm.
watching,
Mhm.
and as much as I know the story of the plot, it still works for me.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 5,
Yeah.
it's The Sting from 1973.
I was in 6th grade and I thought it was the greatest picture I ever saw because even as a young kid, and I still have this ability, for a C+ movie, I can predict where it's going.
Right.
And for the first time, and I was only in 6th grade, so I'd probably seen maybe 10 movies my
Right.
whole life.
Right.
Kind of thing saying, that is the greatest film I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
It really was
And
at
as I
that
said,
time.
I said many times before, it starts with the writing.
Mhm.
And that writing is so clever.
Yes.
I mean, it's why I won Best Picture. There's no question in my mind. But
Wow. Yeah.
yeah, but it is just, and again, we talk about the writing, but Redford's performance in each one of these is just sterling.
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay, number 4, The Natural.
Yeah. I think that's a bit overrated, but that's a good picture.
You know, but it's still, I cannot turn away when we
Yeah,
get to
I
that
agree.
final at bat and the lightning. And I mean, it's just something to me. That's what filmmaking should be.
Yeah.
Because it's magic.
It is.
It is just, and I one of my complaints was always that I thought Redford was a little too old for that movie because when he comes back and plays later on, he's got some liver spots on his hand, and
Mhm.
that was one of my sort of. I really felt like he was, but I still watch it, and I'm
Yeah.
still mesmerized by that final sequence of his.
The
at-bat.
final at bat. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty good. It's pretty
Yeah.
good stuff. And we've seen it play out, with Kirk Gibson
Oh.
and Freddie Freeman.
Yeah.
We've seen that
All
moment.
we needed was the
When-
lightning, and it
Yeah.
would have been the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, number 4.
Yeah.
Oh, that was number 4. Number 3, The Way We Were.
Really?
Yep.
Really? Okay.
From 1973.
See, that's not a typical Bailey romantic story.
I know.
That's why I don't like it.
But
Because they don't end up together at the
but
end. And that final scene where he's married and I'm the hopeless romantic.
Yeah, but
I'm hoping that he'll leave the blonde and go off with Barbara.
Well, you have to have that in your heart that maybe that will happen. But one of the reasons I do like it is it's not traditional. It doesn't
That's
follow.
true.
It does not follow a regular path.
Yeah.
And we spend until the closing credits wanting them to get together,
Yeah.
praying that some lightning will strike somebody or something. And again, just I can hear a few notes of of Barbara's singing.
We're gonna play that. We're playing all the theme songs too.
Yeah, and it
his
just
movies today.
I'm moved by it.
Yeah.
But again, a great love story that does not follow a traditional path.
Yep, absolutely. And she is so good in that film.
Oh, they both are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. All right, number 2,
Yeah.
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Classic.
How can you? The greatest buddy picture of all
It
time.
really is.
And and based on a true story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And there's still conspirators that say that they lived after they went to South
Right.
America and
Yeah.
Butch died an old man. And it's like, no, that's not true.
But my only quibble, my little quibble with
Yeah.
the movie,
Yeah.
is I always hated the raindrops keep falling on your head segment.
Well, that's funny. I was just telling the audience that's what Redford thought. Redford thought it was going to be a horrendous film because he said, I'd never seen a serious Western. There was Cat Below,
Right.
but that was a comedy.
Right.
That a serious Western that had this scene right in the middle of the movie of him riding a bike and there's no conversation, there's no dialogue, and it's just the thing. But I love that scene. That's one of my favorite scenes.
See, I hate that scene because it always felt like to me like somebody wanted an Oscar nomination for music.
For Burt Bacharach.
Yeah, for Burt Bacharach. And so it really feels wedged in there. Again, but that's a tiny quibble.
Yeah,
I'm just
that
saying,
is.
in a great, great movie. I mean, it's just a tiny blip. So, but again, I've always disliked that scene immensely.
And Newman actually performed the stunts on that bicycle in that scene. Did you know that?
Well, it's not that complicated, but
Oh, dude, at one point, what are you talking about? He's riding the bike with his foot at one point, and then he's riding it backwards. You got to go back and watch the movie.
I ride a bike that way all the time.
My favorite line in the film? What's the matter with you? I don't know how to swim. You don't know how to swim? He starts laughing. He goes, are you kidding me? The fall will kill you.
That's right. The water doesn't.
And then they don't say another word, and then they just jump. Yeah. My favorite thing in the film. Sorry.
And of course, number one.
Let me guess for you. What would you say is number one? See, because the Sting was my number one.
Are you doing the acting thing where you know?
No, I really don't. Oh. The Sting would have been my number one.
Okay.
Well, let me go through my list. Let me see what you went with. Let me see what you went. Really?
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I got some good ones on here. The Great Gatsby. The River Runs Through It. He didn't star in that, but he directed it. I don't know. What I can't guess.
All the President's Men.
Ooh, good choice. Good choice.
And again, I always preface this by saying I may be a little biased because I've worked in the newspaper industry.
And they captured it so well.
We were just talking before I came on the air about, we knew that story. Okay. It wasn't like we were being surprised by something, but they made it so intriguing. And we were on the edge of our seat. We know how it's going. And yet the performances, the way it's written, the way it's directed, the insight into newspapers about, we need somebody to verify this, but we know it. But no, we got to, it's
how important it is to have sources.
Yeah, and how historical that all end up being later on and everything. But Hoffman and Redford are great together because they're just really two different people.
Yeah,
and I love that sort of playing off each other. It was that Mutt and Jeff kind of do they belong together, that kind of thing. But again, I just incredibly well written, performed, historical. It just made it had to be my number one.
Yeah, that's not a bad choice.
But as we said, look, these are other films that could have been on there. Inside Daisy Clover.
I love that picture. That's a weird picture, but I love that film.
Down Here Racer.
I've never seen that. The skiing picture.
Little Foss and Big Halsey.
Oh, that's horrible. But I saw that in the film in the theater.
Yeah.
That's a horrible picture, though.
It is horrible, but Jeremiah Johnson.
That's a great picture. I just saw that recently on television. That's a great film.
The Great Gatsby, The Great
Gatsby.
Pepper.
Another great film with Bo Svensson and the fly and who's the woman that dies? She became a famous actress after that. The girl that was the wing walker that fell off the plane.
I don't remember.
Oh God, I'll look it up later.
A Bridge Too Far.
I didn't like that.
The Electric Horseman.
I love that. Another Jane Fonda film.
Yep.
I love that picture.
Out of Africa. The Horse Whisperer. And Captain America: Winter Soldier. And
never saw
that. I mentioned Lions for Lambs because that was the film I got to interview Redford for.
Yeah, so, Randy, while we were talking, he loved that because he said Tom Cruise was in it. I never saw that.
It's a bad movie.
Yeah.
If I had to list all the Redford films, that would be my last. Yeah. But
can I throw in a couple of movies that I particularly liked? Sure. I liked Brubaker.
Yeah.
When he plays the warden.
Yep.
I liked This Property is Condemned.
Yeah.
Remember that in the 60s when he plays with Natalie Wood? Yeah. Another picture that Natalie Wood had to get into water and she hated being in water, which is kind of weird. She didn't know how to swim and we know how she passed away. The Way We Were, Bedford, The Proposal, The Great Gatsby, The Waldo Peppermint, Out of Africa, Jeremiah Johnson. No, you got them all. I did some of the movies that he directed. I didn't know till this morning that he directed Bagger Vance.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. I didn't know till this morning. I knew he directed, and this is one of my favorite films, A River Runs Through It.
Oh yeah,
that is a great picture.
He's the narrator.
Yes,
in the film. But
and Horse Whisperer, you mentioned that. Quiz Show. Quiz Show is a great picture, and I have a somewhat connection to that. I've told you guys I was good friends with John and David Cates, whose dad was Gilbert Cates, who was president of the Directors Guild, and then he became the executive producer of the Academy Awards. He's the guy that brought in Billy Crystal, blah 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 blah. Well, he worked for. Oh God, I forgot the big head of the guy who's part of the film. He worked for them. He was part of the actual, what was it called, 21?
Yeah.
The actual show that the movie's based on.
Right.
He worked on that and used to tell us the story, how he thought his career was over, how they all thought they were going to go to jail, and somehow they emerged out of it, and he became a famous director. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But you covered them all. I
no,
don't.
But isn't it wonderful? We've had all this time talking, and I'm sure there's some we still miss.
Yeah.
There are people out there shouting, "Hey, you didn't mention."
Yeah.
And
Sneakers.
I mean, he had 89 acting roles, so I mean, there's plenty of it out there we can talk about. But yeah, it's a big loss, but he's left us a legacy of films that we are going to enjoy.
Yep, for a long, long
and
time.
will be used in film schools.
Yeah.
I mean, I still say All the President's Men is one that should be shown in every film class.
I agree.
Of how to take a story that we know.
Or every journalism class for that matter.
Yeah, but still, as far as film is making, take a story that we all know the ending and make it as fascinating, compelling as possible. I mean, that's not it. That's almost an impossible. That's like, yeah.
And what's interesting about that film, the White House is not involved at all.
No.
Nixon is not involved. The men involved, the Ehrlichman and Haldeman, their names are used,
right?
But they're not characters in the film. It's all backdrop stuff and how they piece by piece, witness by witness, source by source, got to the bottom of this.
Well, it's Woodward and Bernstein's story.
Yeah,
there's no question about that. And maybe that's why, if we had gone the other way and showed a lot of scenes of Nixon talking and trying to cut and all that, we would have said, "Oh,
another docudrama."
Yeah, I've seen that. But we really do sort of see the nuts and bolts of the industry and a moment really in history that I feel like they pulled back the curtain for me to say, "Oh, I could, I know what that was like."
Yeah,
so,
yeah, and the techniques they use in talking with sources and just I use that as a young professional.
Yeah,
I really did. There's a scene in the movie where Dustin Hoffman playing Bernstein says, "All right, you don't want to say what I want you to say, but if it's yes, I'll count to 10 and just don't say anything. And if it's no, then just hang up the phone." And I literally, as a young reporter, used that where I was talking to a guy and he didn't want to be quoted. And I just said, well, if I said, I got to go with this, but I got to know that it's true. If it's true, just know I'll count to 10. If you don't say anything, I'm going to bet that it's true. Well, and I count it and it was like, thanks, I think. And he said, all right, that's enough. And I totally stole that from the film.
Are we good now?
Yeah.
Like,
Are we good now? Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, okay.
Yep. And he hangs up and he realizes
he's got his
confirmation.
Yep. It's said without being said. And, it's almost flawless film. It is just holds up.
How do actors become directors?
Well, a lot of them negotiate that.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks could be maybe put into that category.
That group that we were talking about.
Yeah, of actors.
Clint
and because that thing you do is really a good movie.
It's a great picture.
Yeah.
He directed that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I knew he produced it.
I think he directed.
But I didn't know that. Yeah, I love that picture.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times actors will negotiate that. Look, you want me to do this movie? I like to be able to direct. So you greenlight this project that I'll direct, blah, blah, blah. I think a lot of them spend their careers being directed and they gain so much knowledge that they feel like they can do the job. And maybe a lot of them feel like they can do it better.
Yeah.
And I have talked to many an actor who's worked under a director who was an actor, and they said they are great because they know exactly what we're going through as an actor. So a director who's never been in front of the camera, or in front of an audience, doesn't have that sort of built-in sense of what's happening.
Yeah.
But if you know your director has been there, they know where you're coming from, and I think there's a communication that's easy as a shorthand, and so yeah. But then
they all do it differently.
Oh yeah.
Because there's another one we got to throw in there is Rob Reiner.
Oh yeah.
Because who was Kevin? Who played the young Jewish attorney in the Jack Nicholson movie I'm talking about? Few Good Men. Kevin
Bacon.
No.
Oh.
The other that played with Tom Cruise's side. Kevin, the short comedian. Kevin Pollak. Kevin Pollak. He tells a story about how Reiner is talking to Jack when he's giving his big speech.
Yeah.
And he said, different directors are different thing. And Rob was a former actor.
Right.
So Rob is talking to Jack Nicholson about this scene. And we're all watching it. And Cruise is like laughing because Rob is like acting it out. Yeah. And Cruise turns to me and he goes, he's telling Nicholson how to do this. And they're all laughing.
Yeah.
And they said that Pollak says, and Jack, to his credit, was just like, I never thought of doing it that way, Rob. And then he did it the way he exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, that's a sign of a great director and a great actor.
Yeah.
All you want is the right ending.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it may not be your vision, it may not be their vision, but if you got to get to that one that's going to entertain the audience the most.
It's a good run, 89.
Yeah,
I'd take it if God sat here right now and said, Ralph, sign this paper, I'll give you 89. Where do I
How
sign?
many of us would not take that deal?
Exactly.
I mean,
How
that
much
is-
are we really going to make it there? I don't think I'm going to make it.
Especially, it's been 89 amazing.
Good years. Yeah, he wasn't
You know.
feeble at the end. He was very active.
That's the kind of thing that I start thinking about at my age. It's like, what I don't want to be a burden.
No, exactly.
But then again, others have been burdens to me, so to heck with them. I'm going to burden them.
A good life lived. It really was.
It's a great life.
We haven't even talked about his environmental work and all the stuff that he did away from motion pictures.
He was a political activist.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, and somebody will do the Redford movie.
Oh yeah, it'd be a great biopic.
Yeah.
But who do you find? What pretty boy can you find that looks like Redford? Good Googly Moogly.
Yeah. Well, it'll be somebody weird like Tatum Channing.
Yeah, something.
Channing Tatum.
That was fun, sir. I appreciate you coming in on your off day.
Hey, like I said, needed the overtime.
Yep. Good. We'll see you Friday. Rick Bentley, everybody. That was fun. That was really fun. And the best part is, I told you I went back and got Turner Classic Movies added. So probably this weekend, they're going to have Redford Day. Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the way we were. It crushed me. I'm like, come on, they got to end up together.
County Attorney Jeff Gray outlining evidence, including a text message
the real
confessing
drama
to
of
the
life.
suspect's partner, and a note saying he had the
Right.
opportunity to kill one of the nation's leading conservative voices and was going to take it.
Because the defendant is believed.
Boy, just go right before the credits roll. Yep.
Charlie Kirk.
That's my
based
kind
on
of
Charlie
picture.
Kirk's political
All right, sir.
obsession,
Appreciate it. Really
and
do.
he shall
Thanks for
know
coming
that
in.
The children were present and would witness
Ah,
the
that's fun.
homicide.
The charges mean the 22-year-old could face
What?
the death penalty. I'm Julie Walker.
President
We have it
Trump
right
has
now, as a
filed
matter
a
of fact.
$15 billion
Yeah, where is she?
defamation lawsuit against the New York
Yeah.
Times and 4 of its journalists.
Shit, I forgot.
White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
In his latest
Do you
confrontation
know her?
with media outlets, the president's lawsuit accuses the New York Times of intentional and malicious defamation. The suit cites the newspaper's endorsement of Vice President Harris in the 2024 election.
No, this is
Writing on
her.
his social
You've
media
met her before.
platform, the president called the Times one of the
You're
worst
thinking
and
of,
most
her
degenerate
boss, Elizabeth.
newspapers in American history.
She's the one,
and said
yeah.
it's become a
Hi,
political
Meg.
piece for the
Come on in.
Democratic
Ralph
Party.
Bailey. Nice to meet you.
Rick
Thanks for
Clugston,
coming in.
The White House.
A former U.S.
This is
Naval
my producer,
Academy
Chris Burdick.
midshipman has been charged with making a threat
Yeah, she's
across
pregnant. She
state
just had a baby.
lines related to a
Yeah.
lockdown and shooting
And
at
I
the
told her, I
Academy
said,
in Maryland
you
last week.
cheat. That means you were pregnant last time you were in studio. And she was like, yeah, I didn't want anybody. I was trying to keep it on the down low. I was yelling at Elizabeth because she was pregnant when she came in here last time.
Fleming of Chesterton, Indiana. was
Oh,
charged
wow.
with one
Thank
count of
you.
Transmitting a threat in interstate communications. On Wall Street.
Oh,
we're down
nice.
by
We'll give them away.
125
Thank you. That
points.
is
The
outstanding.
Nasdaq
Thank
dropped
you very
14.
much.
More at townhall.com.
The following is not an
Outstanding.
act,
Thank
but
you
a
for
real
coming in. I
life
appreciate it.
story from Trinity Debt Management.
Maitland, is that how you
Every day
pronounce
I
it?
speak
Maitland?
with
Okay.
people who
You have
are
a title?
worried and are feeling a lot of pressure
Okay.
because of credit card debt. That's why I'm very proud of what we do at Trinity.
So
We
when does
just
the
help.
expansion
We
begin?
give people the support they need along
Yeah.
with a real plan to become debt-free. Credit card bills are consolidated into a single monthly payment
Nice.
that is much less than what they were paying
Love
before.
Really have.
Most of our members end up
Wasn't
saving
it-
thousands and
Did
even
it
may
not
improve
begin
their
at Cal
credit
State?
scores
Was that not
by as
part of
much
the?
as 200 points. I know from the bottom of my heart
Oh, that's
that
what it was
I'm
called.
making
You're
a
right.
difference
You're
in the
right.
lives of
You're
the
right.
people we help. It just makes me really happy.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
Yeah, I was there in 92.
My name is Julie, and I'm a Trinity
Charles
counselor.
Murphy, I think
Call
was the
me
guy's
and
name.
become debt-free for
Biologist.
keeps.
1-800-990-6976.
From the
At the beginning of
KERN
Comp,
newsroom,
then I'll move
your
back there.
live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and
Mhm.
AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins, Cal State University, Bakersfield assistant
And
basketball
you guys just
coach
had
Kevin
the
Mays is facing
what'd you call
child
it?
pornography
The ice
charges.
cream thing?
According to court
Zafari.
documents, Mays
Yeah,
had over 600 child sex abuse images on his cell phone, some with girls as young as 4 years old. Child porn images were discussed.
And
while he
you
was
can tell your
under
family if you want to go back and
investigation
watch
for
this. We
trafficking.
post
Records
this.
also show that Mays was part of an
record it on
encrypted chat
YouTube.
for those seeking
And
to
so you can go on
trade child
YouTube.
sex abuse images. A
Yeah,
total
you
of
go on YouTube and
3,000
watch the images.
images
Like,
were
show it to your
found.
family.
The man is dead after being hit by 2 different vehicles on Union Avenue. Bakersfield police officers were sent to 3300 Union Avenue just
Mr.
after
Taylor?
10 o'clock Monday night after a
Oh
report
yeah,
of
Dick Taylor. That's
pedestrian
right.
being
Yeah.
hit by a pickup truck while he was trying to cross
Really?
the road, but he was not in the crosswalk. As the man was lying in the roadway,
Dick.
another
I've seen him
vehicle
a
ran
long
into
time.
him. The victim
He
was
is a good
pronounced
guy.
dead at the scene. The first driver stayed behind to cooperate with police officers. In his case, they do not believe speed or impairment were factors. Officers are still on the lookout for the
Lana
second
used to
driver
bring.
who fled
Lana
the
used to
scene.
bring
That
all
driver has
kind
not
of
been identified.
creepy
Anyone who
animals.
knows anything is asked to contact the
Thank
Bakersfield
you.
Police Department. Bakersfield Police and
She,
other first responders.
she did bring an
checking
owl
what
once,
looked
was
like a
really
fatal
cool.
pedestrian
To see an
crash on
owl turn
Union
his
Avenue
neck
and
around
Bernard
was the
Street. It
craziest thing I've
happened
ever
Monday
seen in
night.
my
We will
life.
have more details.
But yeah,
when
she used to bring
released.
things just
A
to
bill to ban
terrorize me.
products containing
Snakes
PFAS or
and,
forever chemicals passed the state
she
Senate
brought
by
like
a
a
narrow vote.
possum
It heads
and
to
like
Governor
all kind of
Newsom's
crazy
desk.
stuff.
Products
And I was
covered
always
would
like
include
one
non-stick
foot
pans
out of the
containing
room.
Teflon. Bill supporters say the ban would eliminate risk of internal organ problems and cancer that come with use of the products. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN newsroom
I'm
with
not
news
even.
every
I'm
half
not even a
hour
cat
when
guy.
it breaks.
I'm a dog guy.
Talk
I'm a dog guy. I'm
96.1
not a cat
and
guy.
AM 1180 KERN.
I don't anymore, but I had a golden lab when I was a kid. Only time I saw my father cry, my father accidentally killed a dog. He was backing out of the driveway and
It's
over a
the
dog.
Ralph Bailey
That's the
Show
only
on
time I ever
News
saw.
Talk
My dad didn't cry at his
96.1
parents'
and
funeral.
AM 1180
The only time I saw him cry,
KERN.
I was in the backyard and heard the scream. It was my sister. And I thought my dad had a
Call
heart
in or
attack. And
text
I ran to the front. He was standing holding Rusty.
That's
He was crying.
661-842-5376. Listen
Oh,
live
it
at
was
KERNradio.com.
terrible.
Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hour 2 of the broadcast on this Tuesday, 16th day of September. Still lots to do in the broadcast. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we'll talk more, believe it or not, about the life and times of Charles Robert Redford Jr. I've got a couple of personal stories that are related to Mr. Redford that I'll share with you. Coming up at 5, defense attorney Clayton Campbell is going to sit down and talk with us about the 7 charges that have been brought against the shooter, the alleged shooter of Charlie Kirk. The DA in Utah is seeking the death penalty. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but most states use the 3-compound poison. It's not as cruel and unusual, but in the state of Utah, they still use a firing squad. So we'll get into that with Clayton Campbell, and I've got some other miscellaneous news and notes, including the health of Dan Marino. We'll talk about that, and I've got some other things we'll get into as well. But in the meantime, as those of you who are subscribing on YouTube can see, we have an in-studio guest. It's Meg Matlin. She is the senior director of the California Living Museum. Meg, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
And I understand this is the first time you've been in the studio. Some of my guest hosts have brought you in. But this is the first time I've got to meet you. Thanks for coming in.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
So the news peg is the expansion of the facility. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, so we've been working for several years to build the expansion out at COMS. So we have over 40 acres planned for an expansion over the next 20 years.
That's the expansion itself? An additional 40 acres?
An additional 40 acres.
Wow.
So COM is currently on 14 established acres. And the master plan that we revealed is an additional 40 acres. So we'll be at 64 acres and some change.
And why is this? Is this for more animals or just an expansion for the animals that are there now? Or?
So it's a mix of both. So we'll be
Yeah.
adding in animals. As you know, Calm Zoo is all about California native species, but there's a lot of animals that we don't currently represent. So we'll be bringing in grizzly bears who used to
Really?
be here. Yeah, they used to be here. They were eradicated. Same with wolves. We're doing several expansions of our enclosures as well. So you'll see new walkout habitats for like our condors. We actually get to walk through a condor habitat and see a 9.5-foot wingspan above you. We'll be adding in tule elk, bison, a lot of other animals that used to be here that are no longer here. We're adding in an event pavilion, several things like that. And then our animals that currently call Calm home are also getting a zhuzh, as we call it out at Calm. They're going to be having new habitats built for them and really jumping into what the expectations for zoos are.
Wow, that is incredible. Can I tell you a really bad animal joke that my nephew told me?
Please.
What did the buffalo father say to his child
What?
as he was going off to college? Bye, son. My nephew told me that. I'm sorry. You mentioned,
I love
you
that.
mentioned bison, and I had to
love
go
it.
there.
Bison.
Yeah. For the few 3 or 4 people or new people to our community, I should have began with this, but tell us what the California Living Museum is all about.
Yeah, so Calm Zoo has started about 43 years ago. A man named Mike Hopkins actually started it in 1980. And as the story goes, his son asked, Dad, why don't we have a zoo in Bakersfield? And his response was, let's build one, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So over the course of 3 years, full volunteer grassroots effort, Calm was born. So we've got pictures of our opening day in 83, and there's not a single tree out there. It's just desert. And you see folks walking into the entrance gates, like old school tube socks, like busted out the 80s. And everything has been built on volunteers. And in 1995, it was brought in by Kern County Superintendent of Schools. And so we've been partnering with them as well to promote education and bringing in new animals and habitats for the last 40 years.
Yeah. And talk about some of them. We always go through this with Elizabeth, but talk us about some of the more popular animals that are out there for the kids.
Sure. So we have the California black bear.
Yeah.
And so we've got Cinnamon and Louie out there. I guess they're just called black bear, but they're from California. Cinnamon and Louie. So those boys are ever popular. They do the Super Bowl picks when we can, and they are part of our Breakfast with the Bears. We also have mountain lions and bobcats, the California condor, an array of foxes. We do a lot of work with the Endangered Species Recovery Program and work actually with San Joaquin kit foxes. So we do a lot of those kind of animals. We also have a bunch of birds of prey. So your eagles, your bald eagles, your golden eagles, and then our non-prey species like our California condors and things like that.
Eagles are fascinating animals.
Yes,
I bored my audience for about a half an hour after I saw a documentary on PBS about how they fly and how they use their wings and their parts of their wings that they use that could create speed. And I was mesmerized by this thing and the difference between a bald eagle and a golden eagle. And it was absolutely fascinating. It really was. How many eagles do you guys have?
Right now we have 2. So we actually have some of the oldest. So our bald eagle Spirit is 36, which is very old for a bald eagle.
What is the lifespan?
Usually about 30 in captivity. And so in the wild, it's a little bit less than that, but 25 to 30 years in the wild.
Yeah, they become really popular because of the folks up in Big Bear and Jackie, and I forget what the other eagle is, but we've seen over the years them actually have babies and have to watch the hatching and the whole bit.
They mate for life. It's such a beautiful thing.
It
There's
is.
actually a wild pair out by Calm too. So they have a baby, well, not this year, but they had a juvenile last year. And so you'll hear them chitter back and forth with our bald eagle as well.
Really? Wow. Do you ever release the animals? Are they ever able to get back on their feet, so to speak, and go back into the wild?
The animals that come through our wildlife rehabilitation program or like our mange foxes and things like that, our goal is to get them back out into the wild. But the animals that can't be released back out into the wild are given a home out at Calm. So,
and that's the majority of the animals out there, right?
Yeah, all the animals out at Calm currently cannot be released back into the wild. You'll see them with some injuries or things like that, or they have been raised with people, and so they wouldn't survive out in the wild on their own.
Yeah. And let's talk about the condors. That's obviously of interest to local folks. How are they? Do they fly still? Are they still capable of flying? And what do they eat? Tell us about them.
Yeah, so the 2 that we have, condors are fascinating. So back in the day, I think there was only 22 left out in the wild for a variety of reasons. A lot of toxic poisoning, lead poisoning, things like that. So what conservationists did is they actually collected those 22 condors, brought them back in, got them part of a breeding program. So San Diego Zoo, LA Zoo were really big on making sure that program was intact. They did breeding, and then they actually were able to release those guys back out into the wild. And there's over 300 of them now out into the wild compared to 22.
Wow, that's incredible.
So the two that we have out at COM are two males. One of them, I'm going to get their numbers mixed up. There's 54 and 20. They have the tags on them, but one of them was actually had his radio tag, hadn't moved for 3 days, and they realized he was underneath a bridge and had gotten a wing injury. And so he wasn't a releasable candidate. They brought him in, and we were able to be part of that program. And so now he's out at COM. And the other is what we consider a release fail out. So
a what?
A release fail from that program. So as the story goes, he was released and then kept coming back to people. So he'd come back and try to like get food off of people and do all of these things. So they released him again in a different spot, and he kept coming back. And so,
Really?
yeah, they are very large and very dangerous when it comes to their talons. You've seen videos of like condors tearing apart cars and all these different things because they've got massive talons. So he was one that was not a release candidate after 2 fail outs. And so we were able to have them both out at COM.
Wow, I did not know they were so vicious.
They can be. They're really curious. They don't really aim to like attack anything necessarily, but they are some of the most inquisitive birds. You watch them kind of like turn their heads, and they're looking at you and thinking about stuff. So they're very, very inquisitive.
And they're obviously predators. What do they eat? What
So
do
they
prey on?
actually eat carrion. They eat dead things. They don't hunt. They eat
Roadkill and stuff?
roadkill and things like that. So they're not considered birds of prey because they don't actively attack anything. They just help clean up. They're part of the vultures, and they help clean up everything.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It really, really is. And you're just coming off your annual and always successful safari. How'd that go?
It was fantastic. So we had about 700 folks out there
Wow.
for a couple of hours, had some amazing community partners where you got to come out and have ice cream and listen to some music from the Dixie Nuts Band, and really just have a fantastic kind of tip for our hat to the summer, and made it a family-friendly event.
Yeah. And now the temperatures are starting to come down. We got to realize that Christmas is right around the corner. And COM is one of the most beautiful places to be during Christmas. And I know it's with the train and the lights. It's just one of the most popular places to be during the Christmas holidays.
Yeah, if you can believe it, the folks are already out at COM setting up lights.
Really?
So I get the question all the time is when do you start? Essentially, the Light Tasman crew gets feet on the ground at the beginning of August. They're there until the day of first setup, which is November 24th this year. So they'll be setting up for that.
Is that right before or after Thanksgiving?
So the opening day is the Saturday after Thanksgiving, the
Okay,
29th.
great.
And so we have them there the entire time. We do the show, and then starting January 4th, which is the last day, they come back. They're with us for a month, and then we have about a month off, and we start talking about planning for the following year. So
Wow.
it's a long, amazing tradition that we have at
Yeah,
COM.
but it's one of the most beloved in our community. It really, really is. It really, really is. What's your guess on when the expansion will be complete?
So it's over 20 years as the different phases. We've got 6 different phases on there. The first phase, we're hoping in the next couple of years to start putting, some work out on the ground. We're starting the architecture designs and things like that now, which that is a process in itself.
Yeah.
And so we're starting that, and hopefully the next year or two, you'll start seeing some big changes.
That's outstanding. Well, thank you so much for coming
Thanks
in.
for having
really
me.
appreciate it. That was fascinating. And say hello to mommy for us, would you please?
Absolutely, I will.
That's a little inside joke. Thank you so much. Meg Maitland, everybody, the senior director for the California Living Museum. Quick time out. We're coming right back. We'll check the board, see what you all are talking about the hour. I've got a couple of stories about Robert Redford that I'll share with you. Then coming up at the 5, defense attorney Clayton Campbell will walk us through the 7 charges that are being leveled against Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin. We'll get into that in the 5. And at some point, we'll get Mr. Burdick to tell he and JR's story of being part of Raider Nation last night. They were in the press box. They were in the clubhouse. JR has a picture of Max Crosby's behind. Why, I don't know, but we'll find out a little bit later in the broadcast. The Ralph Bailey Show on Newstalk 96.1 and AM 1180 KRN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com. That was great. Thank you very much. That was fun.
96.1
I gotta get out there, man. I've been in so long.
Ralph Bailey for Adaptive Networks. You know, a lot of IT companies try to squeeze.
I would love that sometimes. Yeah, I'm a little scary. I'm a coward. I'm not even gonna lie. I am a coward. There's a reason they're called wild animals. I see these pictures of these people. The classic is the woman that walked up to a bison. Yes. I'm like, really? Yeah, exactly.
Custom
Good
technology solutions that actually fit your business.
You too. Thank you so much for coming in.
A small company or a growing
All right,
company,
take care.
Adaptive
Thanks again.
Networks adapts to you. Their customer-driven approach means you get exactly what you need. So don't settle for generic IT support. Call Adaptive Networks today and discover what truly customized technology solutions can do for your business. Adaptive Networks, because your business is unique and your IT should be as well. Visit adaptive-net.com or call 661-241-0638 today.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey, Wisconsin. $5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5 grand. That's
fuck
crazy.
yeah.
If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up. I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free
Well, I
money,
told you that's why we used to hang out at
Using Upside to help pay for a vacation
at Hollywood
later this
Park.
year.
Exactly. We went to some media event and we walked in and there was this long fucking table with nothing but food. And me and Jeremy are fucking grubbing and I say something to Jeremy like, I wonder if they do this every day. And fucking Alan Malaman, the old Alexander columnist, is standing over his shoulder goes, yeah, boys, they do this every freaking day. And I was like, really? We hanging out, Jack. And that's how I got into gambling. That's how I started fucking gambling.
Through my husband. So when I retired, I decided I'm going to go to him too, and I'm very pleased. The experience with Paul Sheldon has been great. Every question you asked, he had an answer for. He was patient and explained everything to where you could understand it. So I'm glad I had him to go to, because otherwise I would be confused. I would recommend Paul Sheldon to anybody because it is so much easier to go there and have someone actually show you and explain to you what your options are. And when you leave there, if you still didn't quite understand, you can always call and even make an appointment with you and rediscuss the whole thing. I also have.
I was working for a weekly newspaper.
Thank you, Paul Sheldon, for all your help. And I
got to go to the Coliseum once.
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers.
Yeah.
Team Paul Sheldon.
And I told you about my
2298. Millions of fans agree. This Christmas tradition rocks. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, live in concert, presenting the Ghost of Christmas Eve.
We've always been the Raider affiliate.
TSO and more. November 25th, Dignity Health Arena. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com and axs.com.
Yeah, Bob would have never let y'all go. Bob would have never let y'all go.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra, live in concert. The Armstrong and Getty Show, weekdays noon to 2 on News
Yeah,
Talk
Bob would have never
96.1
fucking.
and
I forgot about
1180
fucking the detour.
Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
Smiles we gave to one another.
Another Robert Redford film, as you found out when talking with Mr. Bentley. If you did not know, I'm sure most of you know, my older audience. And yeah, it doesn't fit in the Bailey genre because at the very end, they make up and they break up throughout the whole film. And you know, I'm watching this film. I didn't see it like when it came out. I think I saw it in college. And you know, I'm probably gay because I've long been a Barbra Streisand fan. And as not only as a singer, but as an actress, I just think she's incredible. And her character is lovable, but not that lovable. I think that's why they don't get along, because she's very opinionated and very, not that there's anything wrong with an opinionated woman. Don't even start texting me. But they just clash about opinions. They're not, you know. And then you expect them to get together at the end. And the last scene in the film is they're in New York and she spots Redford coming out of a hotel with his wife. and they talk, and there's like the scene where they kind of almost like, you know, we really should have been together, but it didn't work out, and blah blah blah. And this is kind of a sad ending. I don't like sad endings. I like the, you know, the kiss and the credits roll, and everybody lives happily ever after. You know what I'm saying? In fact, we might even talk about a new rom-com that's coming out with who is Barbie? Robbie? Margot Robbie, and who played the Penguin? Colin Farrell.
Correct.
I have a new respect for him from watching the Penguin.
It is incredible.
It is. I mean, there's no way you could tell that's Colin Farrell.
And imagine how much he has to, or how long I should say, he has to sit in like makeup. And all of
Hours.
that.
Hours. You got to get
Fat
there.
suit.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And shooting scenes over and over again in that scene, and I hope they do a second season of that. I really
I believe
do.
they're supposed to.
Yeah, I hope so. 842-5376, our phone number, 842-KERN. Again, I want to thank Meg Maitland, the senior director out at COM. It was nice for her to come in here. What do you got on the board in the meantime?
This first one just says, Ralph, how many wives did Robert Redford have, and who were they?
2. He married twice, and none of them were famous. I could look their names up for you, but you can, you know, just Google him. But I do know he was married twice. He remarried in 2009, and she stayed with him for the rest of his life.
Sybil Saggers?
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to get, because I can't pronounce either one of their names.
And Lola Van Wagenen?
Yeah, that's the one he married in 09, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Van Wagenen was the one he divorced in 85. Saggers is the one that he married in 09.
Okay. Yeah, married twice. What else you got?
Let's see. Hey, Ralph, that thing that's scary about all of this is when the shooter is finally executed, the one who assassinated Charlie Kirk. The crazy people who were happy that Charlie Kirk was murdered are going to be the same people who are going to be very sad when the shooter's executed. That's a lot of crazy people, and I know all right.
Yeah, Luigi Mangione was in court for some reason. Oh, because two charges were dropped. And it was packed outside of the courthouse. And when they announced that they had dropped 2 charges, these people went nuts applauding. And they interviewed some of them. And the signs read, "Save Luigi," and all this nonsense. And we've got some audio that I guess we could play right now. I told you yesterday the story of the doctor who was reveling in Charlie Kirk's death at a at a nurse station, and one of the nurses overheard this and stopped the doctor and basically ratted him out. And she initially was suspended. They investigated it, found out that what the doctor had done, he tried to buy the nurses off by taking them to lunch, but the hospital officials, administration got involved. They fired the doctor, realized they had screwed up by getting rid of the nurse and suspending her, so they reinstated her, but she had already begun a lawsuit against the hospital. Here is the nurse.
Are you fired?
No, I'm not fired as of right now. Right now, I am suspended indefinitely unpaid.
Why?
So I walked into the nurse's station and I just had learned about Charlie Kirk. I saw this guy. I didn't know who he was at the time. And he was standing there celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, saying how he deserved it. He hated Charlie Kirk and he had it coming to him. And
so you love Charlie Kirk. You didn't just want to wear them. Yeah,
I'm a big fan of Charlie Kirk. My first retweet in 2018 it was like my first blue checkmark retweet was Charlie Kirk. I was a couple years out of college and loved him ever since.
You're aghast at this. And what'd you say?
So I looked down at his badge because I didn't know, what job, if he was a doctor or a nurse,
never
saw him before. I looked down, I see his badge and it says doctor. And I said, "You're a doctor?" I said, how are you saying this as a doctor that someone deserved to die? I mean, to me, I was just mind blown.
Well, she was reinstated. And like I said, she is suing the hospital for her short suspension. And I don't blame her. And she's going to win. She's going to win a lot of money. In the meantime, that physician is out of work, as are so many people. We told you about the South Carolina school teacher who, please stand by, said, thoughts and prayers to his children, but in my honest opinion, America became better today. There, I said it. Then there's another teacher in Iowa who wrote one Nazi down. She got whacked. There was a Chesterfield school board member who said, call me old-fashioned, but I remember when we used to be okay with shooting Nazis. She was at least smart enough to quit. And of course, there was this famous doctor. And this case with Dorothy Heffron, the Chesterfield school board member, this could play a role in the gubernatorial race in Virginia. Virginia, the Commonwealth of, is one of the craziest commonwealths of the four that we have. And it's crazy to think that it was basically founded and got up on its feet by what I consider the smartest founding father of the bunch, besides maybe Ben Franklin, and that's Thomas Jefferson. But their laws are nutsy cuckoo. A governor can't serve 2 consecutive terms. So Glenn Youngkin, who pulled off a great upset 4 years ago, can't run for re-election. So his lieutenant governor, a black woman, a black Marine, Winnie Sears, is running for governor. And do you know how crazy Virginia is? Their voting starts on Friday and ends on Election Day, the first Tuesday in November. That's why there can't be a federal law, or there should be, because states can do whatever they want with their elections. They're literally starting voting this Friday in the Commonwealth of Virginia, and it stops on that first Tuesday in November. But the fact that this crazy woman who said, I thought we were okay with Nazis, she's endorsing Abigail Spanberger, the Democratic candidate for governor, and Winnie Sears was losing. Just this news item has shifted the polls, and there's a race now in the gubernatorial fight in the state Commonwealth of Virginia. Quick time out. We head into the last half hour of the 4 o'clock. I've got some personal stories about Robert Redford that I'm going to share with you when we come back. Don't go anywhere.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Prosecutors brought a murder charge Tuesday against the man accused of assassinating Charlie Kirk and outlined evidence, including a text message confession to his partner and a note left beforehand saying he had the opportunity to kill one of the nation's leading conservative voices, quote, and I'm going to take it, unquote. DNA on the trigger of the rifle that killed Kirk also matched that of Tyler Robinson. Utah County Attorney Jeff Gray said while outlining the evidence and announcing charges that could result in the death penalty if Robinson is convicted. Robert Redford has died at 89. The Hollywood golden boy who became an Oscar-winning director, liberal activist, and godfather for independent cinema died in Utah on Tuesday. More details at srnnews.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins. A fatal shooting in Taft is under investigation by the Kern County Sheriff's Office. Deputies were sent to the 200 block of Philippine Street a little before 4 o'clock Monday morning. A man was found dead inside a home. KCSO identified the suspect as 34-year-old Nahaman Bukado. He's been taken into custody. Homicide detectives have taken over the investigation. The closure of Highway 178 between Bakersfield and the Kern River Valley will remain in effect for the rest of the week. Even though SoCal Edison has cleared the power lines, the highway will stay closed between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. until their work is expected to be finished by this coming Friday, September 19th. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Attention!
Medicare beneficiaries here in Kern County. If you are eligible for Medicare and looking for a doctor who listens, if I could be with you, wait times and prompt referral authorizations, it's time you learned about QualCare IPA. QualCare IPA contracts with most Medicare Advantage health plans and provides you with access to a
If I could
network
be
of
with you
outstanding
with all
doctors
my
and quality
life.
hospitals right here in Kern County. Medicare Advantage health plans go beyond original Medicare benefits coverage, and understanding these coverage differences may be confusing. Call us today at 661-554-4544. Let us help you understand your healthcare options for 2025. Call today, 661-554-4544. That's 661-554-4544. Get the information you need and the coverage you deserve. For accommodations of persons with special needs at meetings, call 661-554-4544, TTY 711.
Got battery issues? Choose the #1 name in power, A1 Battery. We've got you covered with top quality batteries for every need. Cars, scooters, motorhomes, garage door openers, key fobs, golf carts, home alarm systems, wheelchairs, and so much more. If it takes a battery, A1 Battery has it. With multiple locations to serve you. Enjoy free diagnostics on batteries, starters, alternators, and electrical systems. Plus, get free installation with any purchase. First Friday of each month is free Key Fob Battery Friday. Family owned and operated since 1960. A1 Battery has been providing reliable, friendly service to Kern County. Need us in a pinch? We offer emergency services to make sure you're never stranded. Tell us you heard it on the radio and get 10% off your purchase. Call A1 Battery today, 589-1433 for the location nearest you, or visit online at a1batterycompany.com. A1 Battery, powering your world, one battery at a time.
Are you looking for a hospital that truly cares for your health and well-being? At Good Samaritan Hospital, they provide high-quality medical detox, psychiatric services, and medical and surgical care. They accept most insurances, including Medi-Cal, Medicare, and Kern Family. They offer Kern County's longest-standing inpatient detox program with dual diagnosis that combines medical care and withdrawal management all under one roof. Learn more at GoodSamaritanHospital.com or call 661-215-7500. Good Samaritan Hospital. They care for their community.
The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, live 9 to noon. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I love this movie. Ragtime.
I don't know why, but every time I hear this, I think of Disney.
Because of the tubas and everything.
Yeah, it has to be.
I always think of
the
this
song every so often too, but
I always think of this, the movie. I'm telling you, I was in 6th grade and I'd probably seen maybe 10 pictures my whole life. I can remember the day like it was yesterday. It's so strange, life. I mean, that was like 50 years ago. And yet I literally have to scratch my brain to tell you what I had for dinner Saturday. No, it's not true. I went out Saturday. I had Billy's. I had really good Billy's.
Ooh.
I had the chop suey, the ribs, fried rice.
Wow.
I know. So neither did I. I had the chop suey, the fried rice, ribs. Mike had the shrimp. God, I wanted the shrimp. But I'm like, you're walking, Ralph. You're walking. Do not. I swear I almost had one, Chris. I swear to God. After 3 months of battling gout and finally getting on a golf course this weekend, I still, on Saturday night, after playing 9 holes that day, and expecting to play 18 holes the next day, I damn near reached over there and I kept saying to myself, really, one shrimp? One shrimp's going to kill me?
Yes.
And I said, yes, I deducted it. Yeah, it probably will.
Out of curiosity, did you only play 9 because of the pain, or did you play 9 because of?
No, we played 9 because there was a Garces girls tournament going on. It was just me and Turnip Seed. I wasn't going to talk about this. I really wasn't, but Chris asked me. Played with Turnip Seed. There were three groups we had a 10-8, 7:50 tee time. So normally we're one of the first to go off, and we're a twosome, and Mike plays kind of slow, so it's not that big a deal. But we had like 3 groups ahead of us. We had like 3 foursomes ahead of us. at 7:50. It was weird.
Good luck with that.
We had like a 7:30 ahead of us, a 7:40, and like a 7:45. And we were like, it'll be slow. You know, maybe one group will let us play through, two groups, but not three groups. And so we just went off the back. And Chris, when I tell you, and thank God Turnip Seed was there and will be here on Thursday, I played about as well as I played in about a year and a half, 2 years.
So you were right.
I was unbelievable. I double bogeyed the first hole. Then I bogeyed the next 7 holes, 8, yep, and then made it a beautiful par on 18 to shoot 9 over, to shoot bogey golf. It was so cool. I busted my drive. I hit a 5-wood from about 180, so I didn't bust my drive, and it flailed on me a little bit. And I had the dreaded, got to carry the bunker. Got to carry the bunker. And I just said, like I try to say, hit it to the clubhouse, Ralph, but don't leave it in the bunker. And I flop shotted it within 4 feet. And Turnip Seed was sitting in the cart. And I said, Mike, if I miss this, just keep on going because I'm walking home. And I knocked it in. And then I went out with Mike Saturday night, had a great time. We watched the Canelo Crawford fight at the Stockyard at about 9 o'clock. So I got home around midnight, 12:30, and they tee off at 7, Mark Swayman, the guys. And I hit a decent drive on the first hole, got lucky, went through 2 trees. And Chris, when I tell you, after playing one of the best 9 holes I played at BCC, after I hit the first drive that got lucky and went through the trees,
right,
I'm here to tell you that for the next 17 holes, I did not hit one decent shot. It was amazing.
You got all the good ones out of the way that you missed.
I don't know what the hell I did other than make an absolute jerk of myself. The only solace I got is I got a phone call from Mike that night. And he said, what'd you shoot this morning? And I said, dude, I made a total jerk of yourself. And what do you expect? You were out with me till midnight. I counted at least 3 vodkas. And you had to get up at 6? I was going to tell you not to play. And you know what? I was standing in the living room about 6:10. And I was like, I should just get back in bed. I should just get back in bed. I was like, no, I'm walking. I don't care what I shoot. I'm just going to be out there. And I really thought that. I really thought just the beauty of playing again and being healthy and being able to do this and be healthy would be enough. Now, I hit literally, Mark Swain can call in and verify this. In the first 2 holes, Chris, I hit 4 trees.
Oh.
The first drive I hit went through 2 trees. So I got lucky and I'm like, cool. So now I've got a tree to my left and it is totally not in my target.
Right.
My target is you and the tree is the freaking door almost. And I pull it right into the tree and it comes straight down. So I make 6 there. I go to the next hole. I spray it right. I've got to shoot a 5-wood through there, but I shouldn't have hit 5-wood because it elevates. I hit a tree, it comes straight down. And now I've gotten still under a tree, so now I've got to chop it out with the tree, and I hit the tree again. 2 holes, I hit 4 trees. And I was livid, and there was no joy in Mudville. There was no, oh, it's so good to be back on the course. Oh, it's just good. Chris, I hit a 6-iron on the 17th hole where the water is. I hit it about 17 yards. And if you, it didn't get to the ladies' tees. And if you play golf, there's something called, well, I can't tell you what it's called, but you've got to do something vulgar if you don't hit it to the red tees. I turned to the group and I said, I would do what you're supposed to do traditionally, but I don't want to embarrass you guys. I don't want to. This place will go dark if I pull my. That's an old David Chappelle joke I stole. In the meantime, I had a couple of stories I wanted to tell. I don't know why I'm telling this story. I told it to Randy, and he said it was a pretty good story, so I thought I'd tell it. I didn't find out till this morning that Robert Redford had directed the Milagro Beanfield War. And all of a sudden I had like a out of body experience back to my childhood or my youth, or my childhood, my youth. This is a crazy story, Chris, but I swear to God, my mother would kill me for doing this, but I swear to God, it's a true story. It's 1985, and I move out of the house with my parents because I tell my dad, I'm not going back to Long Beach State. I've already didn't finish at Morehouse. I did a great year at Long Beach State. I did really well. I became part of the 49er newspaper. I interviewed Steve Horn, who was the president, who would later become a congressman. I had a really good year at Long Beach State, but I just thought, because I walked onto the newspaper and was writing the leads, and I just had won awards, and I worked for CNN. And I was like, I don't need college, Pop. I'm not doing it. And he was like, well, you can't live here. And I said, I've taken care of that. He's like, oh, is that right, Big Shot? Where are you going? I said, I'm going to live with your brother. My dad was like, what? And just walked in the other room and got on the phone with my uncle. And he said, what was I supposed to do? Tell my uncle my nephew he can't live with me? So I'm living with my uncle, and I'm not working for like a month. I finally got a job at the Cajun Sugar Shack, and I'm watching television, and this actress comes on named Darwin Carson. What happened?
Everything is fine. We have brand new waterproof floors from Carpet Outlet Plus.
We haven't been
you can
up for a while?
find everything you need for family-proof floor at Bakersfield's best flooring store.
Go
Now
back just a
offering
bit.
1 year, no
Lean
interest
right to the button, by the
financing.
way.
Carpet Outlet Plus, 3.5 blocks
Or
west
just
of
take
99
it back.
on
Yeah, right there.
Rosedale Highway.
Darwin Carson.
Every day is sale day.
And we're still
September
friends.
is
We're
National
Facebook friends.
Preparedness Month. And if you're anything like me, I'm always asking myself why. Why would the government
she was a
dedicate
fun girl.
an entire month
She really
to this?
was.
I think you and I both know the real reason. It's because when things go sideways, you're on your own. FEMA all but admits they can't save everyone, and their response time just this year has been horrendous. So instead of
Oh, no,
sitting
that's
around
funny.
waiting for someone else
Look what
to
she
step
got
in,
me.
I'm actually going to do something about it.
Now
I
that's
found a
funny.
reliable way to get
That's kinda
everything
spooky.
I need to weather any
Shit,
storm.
that's kinda
Emergency
spooky.
food with enough calories to keep
Oh,
me
she got us all
strong.
kind of
Along with
crap.
water filtration, power, cooking, heating, I get it all from My Patriot Supply. They're the #1 trusted source for
What the hell is this?
preparedness
This is
items. They actually manufacture a ton of their stuff right here in the
Is that what
U.S.
that is?
and they've got over
Oh, she gives
90,000
these to
5-star
Lily.
reviews. When it comes to
We'll
my
give those to
family,
Lily.
I'm trusting the best. Go to mypatriotsupply.com now
What?
to protect what is
This?
yours. That's mypatriotsupply.com.
Oh, those are the chicks gonna go away?
$5,000. That's the average amount of money
You
people
want
in the
'em?
U.S.
Okay.
are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you
Yeah,
cash
that's what she
back
told me.
every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning
Yeah.
cash back today.
I use
She
Upside
got all
every time I
kinds of
fill
stuff
up.
in here.
I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway.
No
Why
kidding.
not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code PARTY5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code PARTY5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank. That's code PARTY5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank.
Millions of fans agree. This Christmas tradition rocks. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, live in concert, presenting The Ghosts of Christmas Eve, the best of TSO and more. November 25th, Dignity Health Arena. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com and AXS.com. Don't miss this season's most exciting concert experience. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, live in concert.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180.
Electric Horseman. I almost said, I wrote down Rhinestone Cowboy. And thank God I looked it up. It's the Electric Horseman. It's a great picture where he teams up again with Jane Fonda. He was with Jane Fonda in Barefoot in the Park, the Neil Simon play that Mr. Bentley and I talked about. And they reunited again in Electric Horseman. It's a great picture about he's a old kind of drunken all-star bronc buster and horse guy who's now in his probably early 40s and is now just simply doing horse shows with this former thoroughbred that they're using and drugging up to walk around with him and sell, Wheaties or whatever. And he's determined to kidnap the horse and let it go. And Jane Fonda plays a journalist who catches on to what he's going to do and goes along with him on the ride. And as they go. And by the way, I didn't, for those that are subscribing on YouTube and can see what we're doing here, I want to again thank Meg Maitland. I looked into some of the things that she gave us, and thank God she gave us a fake snake, unlike Lana Fame, who used to come in here with real animals and scare the crap out of me. This thing, when I saw the thing sticking out of the tongue, kind of scared me. I thought it was real for a hot second, but it was very nice of her. Thank you, Meg. 842-5376, 842-KRN. So in the couple of minutes we got before Mr. Campbell comes in here, tell us about your trip.
It was a lot of fun. We ended up leaving Sunday afternoon, stayed at the Strat for 2 days. I know
y'all left right after the game. I love the Strat.
Yep.
Did you go and take a look at Top Golf next door?
We didn't get a chance to go in, but we did see it from the outside. I will most likely check out Atomic Golf next time I'm there, though.
It's not worth it. Go to Top Golf. You're right. It's Atomic Golf. I shouldn't have insulted Top Golf because I told you last time I stayed there, I went over there and there was nobody in the place.
It seemed pretty empty when we were there too.
Yeah, and it's because if you look at the back side of the Strat, that's really kind of a ghetto.
It is.
And their driving range
lines right up with it.
Lines right up with it, and it's a dumpy field, and it's nothing like Top Golf. They have Top Golf has targets and sand traps and green, and this is just kind of like an empty field, really. It's just it was not worth it. It really wasn't. But you got in the press box.
Yep.
Way up high. Because
Yep.
as I've always said, because I got to hang out at the press box at the Coliseum, press box is the worst seat in the house.
It kind of is.
It really, really is. If
But
you don't,
we got lucky because we're the front row of the press box.
yeah.
So looking out from in front of us was all just fans and stuff like that. We really didn't have to worry about any other reporters in front of us. So it was a really good spot.
Yeah, and then you got into the clubhouse or the locker room. That must have been crazy.
Yeah, well, JR went into the locker room. I stayed in the press conference room because I figured more people would be coming through after Coach Carroll, and got to stay in there for the Geno Smith interview as well.
Oh, God.
Very, very vocally upset with himself, but
As well, he should have been.
absolutely.
He looked horrible. Throwing
play
in
of
a
the
double
game, first
coverage.
pick.
Yeah, throwing in a double I didn't see that. Throwing into double coverage, running around like Caleb Williams, throwing off his back foot, going to his left, and we were 11 points down, and we had to kick the field goal at some point. So we're at the 30 or 35 yard line, and you just can't throw a pick and you can't take a sack because inevitably we need the field goal. If you get it now, that's fine because you still got to make a stop regardless, and then you go for the 8. But instead, he tries to hit somebody in the end zone and throws an interception, and the game is over. Same old Raiders. I think Geno Smith is better than he played, but we'll see what happens. Just a couple of quick football notes, though, that I noticed. Did you see how Taylor Swift entered Kansas City Arrowhead Stadium?
I didn't get to see it, my dang self.
They put up a moving panel so she could not be seen as she walked in. And this Travis Kelce thing ain't going to work. It's not going to work. He's an idiot. Do you see the big controversy going on in Kansas City? He and a couple of other players, Travis included, wore before the game free four, which is Rashee Rice. Now, when you see that, you think of, I thought of like Nelson Mandela. I thought of like, what have they done to this poor guy? Because I had forgotten the story. So I look up Rashee Rice. He was drag racing much like our former wide receiver who killed somebody and is rotting in prison. And not only did Rashee Rice get into an accident and hurt somebody, he left the scene of the accident. And Taylor Swift's fiance is wearing a t-shirt saying, "Free the guy that caused an accident drag racing and left the scene of the accident." Travis, are you stupid? That woman, I'm telling you, I predicted it, and then I went back on my prediction. The wedding never happens. She's not married. He's an idiot. He's an absolute moron. His brother is a bright guy, but Travis Kelce is a moron. Quick timeout. Clayton Campbell joins us next.
This is AM 1180 KERN Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM.
I think he's here.
Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
News this
Randy
hour
gone.
from Town Hall. I'm
Oh, no, he's
Keith
not.
Peters
Oh, he's
in
not.
Washington. President Trump files a $15 billion defamation lawsuit against the New York Times.
The Times calls the lawsuit meritless and an attempt to discourage independent reporting. The lawsuit names a book and an article written by Times reporters Russ Buettner and Suzanne Craig that focuses on Trump's finances and his starring role on TV in The Apprentice. The 85-page lawsuit also attacks claims reporters made about Trump's early business dealings and his father. Among Trump's lawsuits, ABC News and CBS News' 60 Minutes both settled out of court. Julie Walker, New York.
Israel expands its military operations in Gaza.
The Israeli military has announced its operation in Gaza City to destroy Hamas's military infrastructure is now in gear and warns residents to move south. The announcement follows a night of heavy strikes against northern Gaza that killed at least 20 people. Israel's been warning Gaza City residents to evacuate for the past month ahead of the operation, but many have said they're unable to evacuate due to overcrowding in Gaza South and the high price of transport. Also on Tuesday, Secretary of State Marco Rubio left Israel to go to Qatar, where he meets with its ruling emir as the nation is still incensed over Israel's strike on Hamas last week. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Authorities in Utah have shared information indicating the 22-year-old suspect in the fatal shooting of conservative Charlie Kirk did a fair amount of planning ahead of time. Tyler Robinson appeared Tuesday before a judge on aggravated murder and other charges. A prosecutor earlier said he would file a notice to seek the death penalty. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 125 points, the NASDAQ dropped 14. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Guess who's watching Rob Finnerty on Newsmax? President Trump is. He
Hey.
says Finnerty's show
Good, sir. How are
is
you?
so
Good. Thanks for
terrific.
coming in.
Millions are joining President Trump to watch Finnerty every night at 8 p.m. Eastern on Newsmax. All this week, Rob looks at the media's
I almost
war on
needed you
President Trump.
like 2 minutes
Rob
ago.
gives you the facts about
I
the
almost
National
committed a
Guard
crime.
in cities like New York,
I'm coming around the
Chicago, and
corner.
Los Angeles.
My shoes
He
are
tells you the
untied.
real truth
I'm coming
about
around the
Jeffrey
corner. There are two
Epstein
guys
files.
sitting there
And
talking.
he reveals the
And I
big
turn the
media's
corner and I'm
agenda
walking.
on Trump's health.
And the guy
You
taps me on the
need to
shoulder,
watch
and
Rob
I don't know
Finnerty
why.
on Newsmax.
Maybe it's from the
Check
broken
out your
jaw.
local cable
But I
system.
fucking went,
Newsmax
and I
is on
almost
all
fucking
major
hit him. I was so
systems. Or
scared.
download the free
And he's
Newsmax
like,
app.
dude, I'm just trying to
Costs
tell you your
nothing.
shoes untied.
You can watch
I was
in
like,
minutes.
okay, you could have
Finnerty
just
is
said
the
something, but
fastest-growing primetime
I'm-
news show in America.
my heart is
Find
fucking
out why even
pounding.
President Trump is
But who
tuning
does
in.
that? Who walks
More
up on
than
you
40
and
million
taps you on your
Americans go to
shoulder?
Newsmax
Like
for
you could have
news
just said,
that
hey,
you
your
trust.
shoes untied.
Because we
But he
are
tapped me
real
and I went,
news for real
and I
people.
damn near
From the KERN newsroom, you're
I
live
do, apparently.
on News Talk 96.1 and
Yeah.
1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Roberts.
I know the girl
Cal State
that I met.
University Bakersfield
I haven't
assistant
told you I met a
basketball
girl
coach
speaking.
Kevin Mays is facing
And
child
she
pornography
goes, yeah.
charges.
She goes,
According to court documents,
she goes, I'm
Mays
shocked
had
you
over
still come here.
600 child sex
And I go,
abuse
why?
images
She
on
goes,
his cell
'cause I
phone,
saw the
some
video.
with girls
It
as
happened
young
next
as
door.
4 years old.
I was
Child
like, yeah,
porn
well, that was
images
years
were
ago.
discovered
The
on
guy
his
went
phone
to
while he
jail.
was
It's
under
not that big.
investigation for
She's like,
human trafficking. Records
yeah,
also
exactly.
show the Mays
Yeah,
was part of
exactly.
an encrypted chat for those seeking
No.
to trade child sex
No.
abuse images. A total
And we had a
of
great time. We
3,000
sat in the
images
stockyard
were
and watched
found.
the Canelo
A man
fight.
is dead after being
It
hit
was
by two
great.
different
Won a little
vehicles on
money.
Union Avenue.
Of course, I'm betting on
Bakersfield
brother.
police
I
officers
didn't know
were
anything
sent to
about it.
3300 Union
Okay, I'll
Avenue
take your
just
brother.
after
Okay.
10 o'clock Monday night after a report of a pedestrian getting hit by a
I know.
pickup truck while he was
And he
trying to
dominated
cross
the
the
fight.
road,
Did you see it?
but he was not
Oh,
at
he
the
dominated the
crosswalk.
fight.
This man was
First
lying on
round,
the
they just
roadway.
kind of
Another
putzed
vehicle
around.
ran into him.
And then I
Victim
think
was
Canelo
pronounced
won
dead
maybe
at the
2
scene.
rounds
The
after
first
that.
driver stayed behind to
He
cooperate
just
with
was
police
just not the
officers.
same
In his
guy.
case, they do
And then I
not
was
believe
talking to people who
speed
didn't
or
know because I didn't know
impairment were
anything about it.
factors.
They said, well,
Officers are still on the
he just
lookout
took
for
a
the
check.
second driver who
So they
fled
gave him
the
$100
scene.
million.
That driver has not been identified. Anyone who knows anything is asked to contact the Bakersfield Police Department.
I know,
Bakersfield
but
police
it's
and other first
crazy.
responders checking out what looks like a fatal
He's-
pedestrian
yeah.
crash on Union Avenue and Bernard Street. It happened Monday night.
Right.
We will have more details when
Who's he supposed to fight next? Is he
bill to
supposed to
ban
fight somebody
products
else?
containing PFAS or forever chemicals passed the state Senate by a narrow
Screwy.
vote. It heads to Governor Newsom's desk. Products covered would include nonstick pans.
So have you heard
containing
some of these text
Teflon. Bill
messages?
supporters say the ban would eliminate risk of internal organ problems and cancer that come with use of the products. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN News.
They're gonna shoot this
every
kid,
half
aren't
hour
they?
or when it breaks on
Can-
News Talk 96.1 and AM
Is it
1180.
a choice? I
KERN.
read somewhere that
What do you think? This is the army where you shoot them a mile away? You gotta get a post like this. Little bing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
they still use the 3 drugs.
Ralph
Yeah.
Bailey Show on
But I
News
heard that
Talk
they couldn't find the
96.1
third
and
drug.
AM
That Paris
1180
had the third drug,
KERN.
and that Paris got rid of it.
When you make the call. You understand me? You
And that's
hear
one
me?
of the
Call
reasons
from an
it's just
outside
such a
line.
backup.
Mean it.
Call
Yeah.
in or text to 661-842 KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Final hour of the broadcast on this Tuesday, 16th day of September. It's the Ralph Bailey Show. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180, KERN. We're streaming live, KERNradio.com. We still got lots to do in the final hour. We've got some fair facts for you. The Great Kern County Fair starts up tomorrow. And I now know that I am officially old as dirt because I get a discount. And it ain't because I got freckles. It ain't because I'm black. I don't even want to tell you what the age is for senior citizens, but you're looking at one. So you have no idea how depressing it was this morning. And these people get in for less. I'm like, that's me. We'll give you the facts, the hours, the prices, et cetera, et cetera. And once again, the Dodgers couldn't get it done last night. The Raiders couldn't get it done last night. And we'll talk more about Travis Kelce's support for Rashee Rice. Have you heard that, Mr. Campbell? Clayton Campbell has joined us live in studio to talk about Charlie Kirk. But have you heard what Travis Kelce and some of these Chiefs have done? They did this past weekend.
No, I've literally paid zero attention to the Taylor Swift universe.
It has nothing to do with Taylor. It has to do with Rashee Rice. You know what happened to him in the offseason? He was drag racing, got into an accident, left the scene of the crime. They're sporting T-shirts free for, alluding to Rashee Rice.
What was it, an injury accident?
Yes.
Okay, well.
And he left the scene. And they're supporting this guy as if he was like, you know,
a political prisoner.
Yes, like Nelson Mandela or something. Free Nelson. No, free a guy who committed a crime. He did exactly what our wide receiver did. He just didn't kill anybody. Remember, who was our wide receiver? That's
Henry Ruggs.
Henry Ruggs, who's rotting away in prison as we speak. I found that so idiotic, and that's why I'm saying they ain't never get married, Clayton.
Well,
He's too stupid. She's not going to marry him.
It's always more serious, if you leave the scene and then somebody's left in a situation where they end up getting more seriously injured or they die or something because you didn't render aid. And that's why that, a hit and run with serious injury is a much higher penalty. Right?
He's going to do time. Yeah. He really is. And speaking of time, that's why we asked you to come in as a criminal defense attorney to go over the 7 charges being leveled against the shooter. I'm not naming him. We talked about his name yesterday, but I'm not bringing up his name. But he faces aggravated murder, felony discharge of a firearm causing injury, serious bodily harm, 2 counts of obstruction of justice, 2 counts of witness tampering, And the charge that I wanted to ask you about, commission of a violent offense in the presence of a child. I've never heard of that.
I don't think we have an equivalent charge in California. They might charge you with child endangerment if you committed a violent crime in the presence of the child because it's inherently dangerous.
Right.
The child's around, but that must be Utah's method of dealing with that.
Yeah. And they are seeking the death penalty, obviously.
They are.
Yeah.
See, we don't have an aggravated murder charge in California. We have murder, but then there are special circumstances that can be alleged that would make it a death penalty eligible charge. Now,
shooting of a police officer, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, exactly. There's several of them.
Yeah.
And in Utah, they have a whole list. I pulled the statute and looked at a whole list of aggravating circumstances that could make it aggravated murder rather than ordinary murder. And aggravated murder in Utah makes someone eligible for the death penalty. So what they've alleged here as the aggravating circumstance is the victim targeting enhancement. So they basically alleged that the shooter intentionally selected Charlie Kirk because of his the shooter's belief or perception regarding Kirk's political expression. So it's kind of like a hate crime enhancement that we would have in California. Right. So they have various classes of people that if you targeted somebody for one of these enumerated reasons, then there's an aggravating factor. So that's what they've charged them with here. And then they've also, one of the aggravating factors listed in that statute is also committing the violent offense in the presence of a child. That's an aggravating factor. And there were kids, of course, visible in the front row. I heard somewhere that it was his kids sitting there, and I don't know if his kids were there, but it's terrible.
Yeah.
And then
have you seen the video?
I have, yeah.
You've watched it?
Well, I wasn't trying to see it.
I wasn't either.
Last, what was it, Wednesday or the 10th, whenever that was, I had heard that he had been shot. And so my brother and I, we were having lunch when we heard this. And so we're both going through the internet looking for updates to see if he survived and just hoping and praying that he would pull through. And then, of course, people are posting the video. And I think this has got to be fake. This looks like something out of a horror film with all this blood. And it turns out that was real. And of course, there was no way to save him, but that was just that's why I happened to see it, and I hope that they keep good. And Elon Musk was talking about scrubbing that off of X, and there's no reason to play that over and over.
No, there really isn't. And yeah, I saw it by accident. Somebody sent it to me, and I kind of guessed that that's what it was, but I didn't think it would be the whole thing. And I watched it, and I really wish that I hadn't.
When you look back at the Kennedy assassination, there was one guy in the whole area who had a camera. Yeah, and he's sitting there rolling his 8mm camera. And now, the modern day, you've got surveillance cameras everywhere. It's all 4K HD video, and then everybody's got their iPhone with a 4K camera or 8K camera. It's incredible. And so now the FBI must have some process for dealing with thousands of videos.
It's incredible. Yeah, it's incredible. Will this go to trial? Do you think, given the audio that we played today, where he is texting his roommate / boyfriend, and he asks, "Are you the guy?" And he says, "Yes, I did it, and this is why I did it." I mean, this is one of the first times I've ever heard one of these shooters chronicling why they did it, how they planned it out. He said, "I've been planning this for a week." I mean, he broke it down. I don't see how this goes to trial.
It has to. They're not going to offer him any kind of deal. There's not going to be a deal. The DA won't agree to that. And so he has to go to trial.
And you don't think a defense attorney, you being a defense attorney, would say, we need to plead guilty and try to...
You can't plead guilty and admit these aggravating factors.
No.
You're going to get, that would be malpractice.
So it has to go to
trial.
It'd
have to be a Timothy McVeigh kind of a, a masochist who's willing to just go straight to the gas chamber.
Yeah.
And I don't get that from this guy. He evidently, according to the reports, told his father he was intending to kill himself. And his father persuaded
him out of it. We played that audio.
And so there's that, because I think the public deserves some closure to see justice, as opposed to like one of these cowardly school shooters that shoots themselves at the end of the incident, and they just leave all this carnage and sorrow in their wake, and then there's no justice.
Yeah. Let me ask you a stupid question. Clayton Campbell, the local defense attorney, is our guest. Let me ask you a stupid question that I have kind of argued with myself my whole life. Are murderers sane? Is the act of murder, premeditated murder, a sane thing to do?
Well, I would say legally, yes, because if you're insane, you're not guilty of the murder. I mean, you would not guilty by reason of insanity. So,
but how could this kid be called sane? There's one audio where he's more worried about his father's reaction to losing his grandfather's rifle than he is about going before a firing squad. When I heard that text message, and I'm like, son, you got bigger worries than returning your grandfather's rifle.
Well, I'm certain that the defense that they'll use is some kind of a mental health defense. It'll be not guilty by reason of insanity, and they'll try to convince the jury of that, as opposed to it wasn't him.
Right.
Or
There's no way.
Yeah, I think the evidence is overwhelming here.
Yeah.
But of course, we're just seeing what's in the public. We got to wait till the trial happens. But he looks very guilty right now. And what it looks like to me is that they will probably have to employ some kind of mental health defense. But look, the thing is, people do evil things, and that's why we have a criminal law. And you can look at any kind of crime and say, well, how could anybody do this?
Yeah.
But, murdering a child or harming a child or domestic violence even. How could you do that if you weren't crazy? How would you do something like that to somebody? And we have a crime called mayhem, which is disfiguring someone and maliciously. And so
we just experienced that at the La Quinta, at the 8-year-old.
It happens. And that we look at these definitions of crimes that are on the books. You're like, well, how would anybody ever do that? Well, people do that. And there is evil in the world. There's human depravity ever since the Garden of Eden, the fall. People do terrible things. And so we have to protect ourselves. That's why we have a penal system. That's why we have a due process system as well, is because people are prone to error. And so we can't immediately jump straight to guilty. That's why we have to have a trial. Now here, look, I think the public's going to get their satisfaction. And now, obviously, we can't get Charlie back. We can't undo this terrible thing, but we can see justice done. And so we want to make sure we do that by the book. So that way we can say with a clear conscience, we got the guy.
Where are we, Clayton, as a country, as a society? We've got folks that have put $1 million on the books of Luigi Mangione and who are out celebrating the fact that 2 of his charges have been dropped. Hundreds of people outside the New York courtroom cheering this murderer. We've got people that are reveling. I'm in a fight now with David Torres because I thought things that he wrote literally hours after Charlie Kirk's death were just inappropriate. His defense was, well, I was just chronicling things that he said. Yeah, but why now? Why now? What if somebody at 6 o'clock on November 22nd, 1963 had said, well, he was sleeping with Marilyn Monroe and he screwed up the Cuban Missile Crisis and the Bay of Pigs was a disaster? Nobody did that because the timing is inappropriate. And I just thought, this doctor who got fired because he said he deserved it, these teachers that are getting whacked for making the statements. One teacher said, I thought we used to be okay with killing Nazis. People comparing people to the Third Reich. Where the hell are we in the 21st century?
Well, I think this is a 90-10 issue. There's a small minority of people that celebrate this, and those people are depraved and savage. Now, I don't think David Torres is saying that he justifies the murder.
No.
But I do take issue with him jumping straight on the internet and going out there and saying all these. And by the way, he's repeating a bunch of falsehoods that are said about Charlie Kirk on MSNBC and CNN. I would wager that he has never heard a single thing that Charlie Kirk has said or read any of his books or listened to any of the debates. You watch Charlie Kirk, those videos, he would have these people confront him at these events and they would come up and he would let them talk. And as a talk show host, if you get a crazy caller, you've got a mute button. And then you can hang up on them. Yeah. And then you can tell everybody why they were wrong and they don't get a chance to respond. Charlie Kirk would sit there with a microphone and he would say, hey, debate me. And he was so polite. He was so nice to people.
Affable.
And people are challenging him to a fight or people are telling him he's a Nazi. And he would have he was so polite to them, even though they're trashing him and defaming him. And so anyway, it's just disgusting that people would go out and immediately like, well, yeah, but he kind of had it coming because he said all these things and I don't like him. And it's just totally ridiculous. And, you look back, they've actually done some, Twilight Zone episodes where somebody has a time machine and they go back to murder Hitler. Right? Remember that?
Yeah.
There was one and the lady goes back and she murders a baby thinking that it's Hitler. Right. And this raises this moral dilemma. Well, if you had a time machine, you could go back and you could prevent all the suffering. And, 100 million people, 120 million people died during World War II. If we could get rid of Hitler, we could save all that, stop all that suffering. So you rationalize that. And then you go out and you tell people Donald Trump is literally Hitler. And anybody that supports him is literally a Nazi. And then they target people like Charlie Kirk with dehumanizing language. And they say that he's a Nazi. And then they radicalize these losers that these people go on these Reddit forums. And they sit there stewing in this hate. And then they go out and then a guy does something like this. And then what does the media do? They turn around and say, oh, he was a Republican. Oh yeah. See, he killed Charlie Kirk because he agreed with him on everything. I mean, it's totally absurd.
Yeah.
And so they want to have it both ways. They want to say, well, he's bad because he was a Republican. That's why I did. And then they also want to say, well, just because he had these political views doesn't indict everybody who shares his political views, right? They want to have it both ways. But it's just disgusting to me to see that and to see the people celebrating it and saying that he deserved it. And it's just unbelievable. So anyway, that is disgusting, and I condemn that kind of thing completely. Yeah. And it's really it's actually caused me to rethink some relationships that I have.
Me too. So, it really has. And it really is the true test of the First Amendment, because this is what the First Amendment is about. I've talked about this all week, and I know it sounds like 10th grade government, but it's true that it's easy to accept the First Amendment when you agree with somebody. But the true test of the First Amendment is, and free speech is, defending somebody who says something that you detest. And that's really what Charlie Kirk was all about. The title of his tour was Prove Me Wrong. He invited this conversation. I've talked about this all week. You know, comedians won't go on the college tour anymore. They just won't, because of the heckling and the issues and the problems
the
they
stuff
have.
They're not allowed to joke about.
Yeah, exactly. Well, but Kirk made a living out of this and invited these people to challenge him, and yet people are using the First Amendment against him to cause all this mayhem, and they're losing their jobs in the process.
Well, yeah,
that's amazing.
You know what? The thing is, the First Amendment protects you from government regulating your speech.
Right.
It doesn't protect you from people who disagree with your speech dissociating themselves from you. So if you go out in public and you bring a bad name to your employer because you're out there celebrating the murder of a 31-year-old peaceful political activist, and you get fired, you know, that's on you. Your employer has the right to say, you know what, I don't want to be associated with that. You're hurting business. And it really should.
Yeah.
It really should hurt your business. If you're out there saying this stuff, people should question whether they should give you their business.
Yeah.
You know, we have the right to associate with whoever we want to associate with. And I generally do not support, boycotts, because I don't think they're that effective, but they can be sometimes. And when somebody does something like crosses the line where they're out there celebrating someone's murder, I think we can say, you know what, I think I'll take my business elsewhere.
Yep.
I don't have to go there, and we have the right to do that. The First Amendment doesn't protect you from other people deciding that they don't agree with you. It doesn't protect you from non-governmental consequences for your speech.
Yeah.
So that's I think people misunderstand that. It's free. What about free speech? Well, you have free speech, and we have freedom of association, which is part of the First Amendment as well.
And as much as I have tried to avoid blaming one side or the other, and I think this is a poor time to do it, but at some point we have to admit that it has been the Democrats who have introduced the word. I haven't heard the word fascist since I was studying it in high school, but all of a sudden the Democrats have introduced that word in accusing Trump and the administration. This goes back to 2016, and now we see it where the kid wrote something like, hello, fascists, you're going to, whatever.
It was, hey, fascist, catch this.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And the parents talked about how he became radicalized over the last couple of years, and it was a problem within the family. So I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't do it, but I think that the verbiage that the Democrats have used over the last 10, 12 years, really since the presence of Trump, I think has ginned this thing up a little bit. I think they're not the cause of this, but they have a sense of responsibility. I really believe that. I know it's not fair. It may not be timely, but I believe that in my heart.
Well, I think that they want to have a situation where they can deny responsibility, because look, nobody's responsible for what somebody else does, right?
Of course.
So you could be the most radical loudmouth who says the worst things, and that just makes you a bad person. It doesn't make you guilty of what this guy did to Charlie Kirk. But you know what? It is irresponsible, though. And especially if you have a big platform, you do have a responsibility not to try to radicalize people or fire them up and get them to do something terrible like this. And there, you do bear some responsibility when you lie to everybody.
Having said all that, and I'll leave you with this: can we use this as a moment to ratchet it down, or are we just spiraling out of control?
I think that we won't ratchet it down as a society until the Democrats suffer even more at the ballot box. And I think that a lot of people are watching right now, and they're seeing Democrats, they're seeing the left-wing media, they're seeing people that are elected officials that are kind of, well, this is bad. However, he was really bad. Do you like
Ilhan Omar?
Yeah, or J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois. I tell you what, I got to give credit where it's due. Gavin Newsom had nothing but good things to say about Charlie. He had him on his podcast
recently.
And so he said this is just unacceptable and we need to stop doing that. This kind of stuff can't happen in this country. And that's the right way to approach it, instead of going out there and listing all the reasons you didn't like Charlie. And that I think, the fact is Gavin Newsom met him.
Yeah.
And I think he
Sat down and
understood, hey,
talked
look,
with
this guy's he's not a bad person, right?
Right.
So anyway, I think once there have been some serious reverses, because I think the public is seeing this, they're watching this, and they know what side this guy was on, and whether it's fair or not, they will politically associate this kind of thing with that side, with the left.
Absolutely.
So
I'll leave you with this. Will the trial take place in Utah?
Yes, I don't think it'll be federal. And I think, first of all, we have state charges already filed. And I think one of the strategic reasons that the U.S. Justice Department doesn't want to file the case as a federal case is that even if they convicted him in federal court and he got the death penalty, the appeals process would take so long that Donald Trump will probably not be the president when this guy's appeals are finalized. And so you could have a situation where somebody like Joe Biden comes in and commutes the sentence or pardons him, even something like that.
Yeah.
So I think they wanted to let it go to Utah, let the Utah officials take care of this.
Kash Patel said yesterday that there were some 20 or more people that he was communicating with. Do you see any other arrests occurring? And could I know they're treating the roommate really well now because he's given them some great information, but could he be called upon? Because I understand the note that they found, he did not provide that to them. They had to find that. Could that be tampering with evidence?
It could be obstruction of justice, which is what they charge in Utah. I don't know. I think all these people that he's talked to on the internet, from what I've seen, it looks more like he revealed to them afterwards that he was the shooter.
Yeah.
It wasn't that they were in on planning it, which they would have to be in order to have criminal culpability for this.
What if they had knowledge of it? What if he had said, I'm planning on killing Charlie Kirk?
It'd be very hard to prove that they knew that, first of all, for sure, that he was going to do it. And secondly, you have to do more than just know about it. You have to actually do something to help.
Are you obligated to stop a crime?
Generally, no.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, you're generally not obligated. So in a situation like this, I don't think they would be, just knowing. And who knows? A lot of this stuff, people on the internet say crazy things. So I don't know if anybody would necessarily be required to believe that, even if he told them ahead of time, this is what I'm planning to do.
Yeah. When do you think the trial is going to get started?
I don't know.
We're months and months away.
Probably not too far. I mean, they'll do as quick as they can. I think they've already got a lot of the evidence ready.
Oh, it's incredible. The DA's press conference sounded like an opening statement in the trial. It was so thorough. It really was. Really appreciate you coming in. I know you're busy.
By the way, there's a vigil for Charlie at 7:00.
That's right.
At Riverwalk Park tonight. The Young Republicans and Republican women have put this together.
Yeah,
so
we told them about that yesterday. Yeah, we sure did. Thank you. Clayton Campbell, everybody. No time when we come back, but we'll head into the bottom half of the hour and wrap this thing up on this Tuesday. It's TRBS. Don't go anywhere. That was great. That was great. Thank you. Really appreciate it. I hope they do.
Hi, I'm Red Source.
I really do. I really do.
And owner
I'm not
of
gonna lie.
Stockdale Kitchen and Bath. When it comes to remodeling your kitchen or bathroom, you deserve a process that's personal, precise, and as stress-free as possible. That's why I personally designed every project with you using state-of-the-art three-dimensional software, so you can see exactly what your new space will look like even before construction begins. No guesswork, no surprises, just a clear vision brought to life. And I believe in guiding you at every step of the process. I shop with cabinets, countertops, fixtures, so you get the perfect combination of style and function.
I heard they have 5 shooters,
American-made cabinet brands,
and one guy's got a blank so that they don't know who actually killed the guy.
Beauty and craftsmanship. If you're ready to turn your vision into reality, let's design something amazing together. Call Stockdale Kitchen and Bath at 661-834-3333 or visit StockdaleKitchenandBath.com today. Stockdale Kitchen and Bath. Beauty cabinetry. Smart design.
The following is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways with the purpose of soliciting sales of vacation ownership. For complete details, please visit FVGradio.com. If you want a 100% complimentary stay at a luxury
Do they
resort in
televise it?
Cancun, airfare not included,
I mean, they can't
Family
televise the
Vacation
actual
Getaways
murder.
is your
But
ticket
do
to
they, where do you
paradise.
think they're going
See
to
website for
televise,
complete
like,
details.
we're here
away 5
live?
days and 4 nights to the first 50 callers who can name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. An animal that lays
Not
eggs
even
and
like
is
the
not a
setup
bird.
and
You know it? Call now.
an execution.
800-417-6411.
They had one in Texas.
417-6411. You're also eligible for an exciting bonus vacation to Orlando, Florida for just $498. And don't worry about anything ruining your
Oh, they
plans.
used to have
We can
crowds
extend your
back in
travel
the
up to
19
18 months. Name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird, and you get a complimentary Cancun resort stay and an optional bonus vacation to Orlando for just $498. What are you waiting for? Call 1-800.
We're going to have a child. I'm going to hang.
800
All right, man. Thanks again.
6411 and give us your answer. The proceeding is not a contest and is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways. It is not sponsored by this program or its affiliates.
I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
But now that our love dreams have ended.
Wow, don't tell me. We're playing theme songs of Robert Redford films. And I may be stumped.
What'll I do when you are far?
Oh, this is The Great Gatsby.
There you go.
This is from The Great Gatsby. I didn't even ask for this. Nice call. I did ask for this?
Yeah, you asked for them. The next one you didn't, but this one you did.
Yeah, this is from The Great Gatsby, which, you know, he got panned for playing Jay Gatsby. They said his performance was horrible. It's one of my favorite books, F. Scott Fitzgerald. We headed to the last half hour of the broadcast. It's TRBS. Don't go anywhere. What'll I do?
News Talk 96.1
What'll I do
and AM 1180
when
KERN.
you are so far away?
With SRN
What'll I
News,
do?
I'm Keith Peters in
What'll I
Washington.
do?
FBI Director Kash Patel is
What'll
defending
I
his record and
do?
pushing back on criticism that he has politicized law
Dude,
enforcement.
come on.
The appearance
Tonight
Tuesday
is the
before
best
Senate
one.
Judiciary
You
Committee was
gotta
the first
watch.
oversight hearing
Come
of
on,
a very
Randy.
young but
Just
tumultuous
one
man.
episode.
It provided
I'm
a
telling
high-stakes
you.
platform for him to try to
Just
demonstrate
watch
that he's the
10
right
minutes.
person to lead the FBI at a
Seth,
time of internal upheaval. Mounting
Yeah, I
concerns
recorded, so it
about
might be at
political
like
violence
5, but I
after
think
the
it
killing of
re-airs
Charlie
at 7 though, live.
The Trump
I mean, not live,
administration
but
has
obviously.
issued its first warnings to online services that offer unofficial versions of popular drugs like the blockbuster obesity treatment Wegovy. The Food and Drug Administration on Tuesday sent letters to Hims and Hers and dozens of other companies ordering them to halt false and misleading statements about their medications. This is SRN News.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins. Cal State University Bakersfield assistant basketball coach Kevin Mays is facing child pornography charges. According to court documents, Mays had over 600 child sex abuse images on his cell phone, some with girls as young as 4 years old. Investigators report that they have discovered a total of 3,000 images. A bill to ban products containing PFAS or forever chemicals passed the state Senate by a narrow vote and heads to Governor Newsom's desk. Products covered would include nonstick pans containing Teflon. Bill supporters say the ban would eliminate risk of internal organ problems and cancer that come with use of the products. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis.
Did you see we had
Get medical help
145
right away
viewers
for
with no
unexpected
sound?
bleeding or bruising, or back pain,
Yes.
tingling, numbness, muscle
So the only thing I
weakness,
can
or
figure out is that
incontinence.
they
Ask
either
for
had
products,
they're
NSAIDs,
watching
SSRIs, SNRIs,
and had the
and blood
radio
thinners
or
increase
their
bleeding
phone on
risk.
or something.
Tell your
But
doctor about planned medical or dental
Yeah.
procedures. Learn more at
I was like,
eloquist.com.
because we
or
just
call
left it on,
1-855-ELOQUIST.
and I just didn't even.
Wednesday's
I
Armstrong
assumed,
and Getty show,
and I
Trump
saw
is headed
people
to
in the
Great
chat
Britain
room, but
to
I
sign a
thought
nuclear
I didn't
deal,
think
and
they were
it's a
still
state
there. And when
dinner
we closed
with
it up, it
the
said
King and the
145.
Prime Minister. Also,
like,
Israel's rolled into Gaza, and they're going to finish this.
Radio.
I'm sure we'll have updates.
And what about these
That's all it
organizations that
is. Just radio
finance
people.
radical leftist politics? If that turns
Yeah.
into
Yeah, no
violence,
kidding.
is that a violation of the RICO statutes? That and more on the next
What'll I
Armstrong Show.
do?
Noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. The Charlie Kirk Show. Weekdays at 6 p.m. on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
A couple of weeks ago when I asked, would you sleep with a stranger for $1 million? And I declare that anybody that said no is either lying or stupid or a millionaire because that's just dumb. $1 million doesn't quite go as far as it did when we were kids, but still, $1 million. I'm pretty sure I could live another 20, 25 years on $1 million bones. I'd give $500,000 to Petrie, let him invest it for me. Live off, give my apartment guy, the owner of my building, rent for about 2 more years, maybe 5. Although he probably wouldn't want that because my rent's going to go up in January. I know it is. I'm surprised they haven't gotten rid of me because I could get so much more. I've been there for like 12 years. Me and the teacher that lives across from me have been there for like a decade, and they could get so much money for our apartments. I am blessed that they haven't told me to get the Sam Hill out. 842-5376, 842-KERN. Let's check the board, see what everybody's talking about.
Ralph, did you see yesterday that a judge in LA denied the Menendez brothers' request for a new trial?
Oh, yeah, that was a given. We didn't pay attention to that. The habeas corpus thing was absolute. Their only hope at this point now is Gavin, and he's not doing that because he's running for president. He wants to be a tough guy. And, yeah, there's no chance. I'm still shocked about the decision of the board. I really am, denying both Eric and Lyle, the parole board's decision. The very same parole board that wanted to release Sirhan Sirhan. And certainly that murder of Robert Kennedy Sr. was much more globally and internationally more influential than the death of a music executive. So I was shocked that they denied Eric and Lyle. But yeah, they're done. Thank God. There is a God in the sky, and there is justice in America, at least in this situation. Who you got?
Fred's on the line.
Fred, you're on the Ralph Bailey Show.
Yeah, my question is, Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare, was murdered by Luigi
Yes.
Falcone.
Yes.
Okay, Charlie Kirk was assassinated by Tyler Robinson. What's the difference? One is referred to as a murder, the other one's an assassination.
One was done in front of a group of people, the other one wasn't?
Yeah, one was done as like a street crime, and one was done in an open air arena from a purged area, and it was a political assassination. I don't think you'd call a healthcare worker a political activist, as Charlie Kirk was. This guy was trying to kill a message. Luigi was trying to kill a representative of a bigger problem that he saw in America, and that's healthcare. I don't think he, I have no idea, I'm just speculating, but I don't think he gave a damn what healthcare big shot he killed. He just selected this guy and murdered him on the streets of New York. I think technically, I suppose you're right. There probably isn't a big difference.
I can't see it.
But I think it's just terminology. That's all. I think the fact that it was, again, an open air thing with a rifle from a spot and a political activist, a guy who has the ear of the president of the United States and was influential in probably helping Trump win Arizona. This was a guy in the arena, although not in the arena at the same time. And Brian, whatever his last name is, I forget, you just said it, but he was an unknown just healthcare executive. So I think that's the difference.
I guess so.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for the call. Appreciate
Well,
it.
Robert Kennedy was assassinated, but he was shot with a handgun in a kitchen.
Yeah, but he was a president. He was about to become president of the United States.
I agree. Okay.
Yeah, that's the
I
difference.
just
I think.
It's hard for me to determine. It's kind of like what you mentioned about the flags at half-mast. Do we lower them for everybody now? We don't lower them for a vet that gets killed in Vietnam or Afghanistan, but
Right.
for a political talk show host, we do.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's right.
No, I totally agree with you. I totally disagreed with putting him at half staff. I absolutely did, and I said that to a local attorney who apparently doesn't like me very much now because I criticized him speaking ill of Charlie Kirk hours after his death. But that was supposed to be the thesis of his Facebook entry, was to point out his disagreement with the county. And I agreed with it. I absolutely agreed with him. I just didn't agree with chronicling Charlie Kirk's foibles as he pointed them out literally hours after his death. I just thought it was untimely and mean-spirited.
Okay, I agree. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I wondered if there was a difference.
Yeah, technically there isn't, I guess. 842-5376, 842-KERN. What else you got on the board?
The best scene in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Yes. Okay. If they don't agree with me and it's not when they jump off the cliff, I can tell you what scene they're going to say.
Okay.
The best scene in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid is the fight with Lurch.
No.
No?
No.
When he says, first, let's get some rules straight. And he says, rules? There are no rules in a knife fight. So Paul Newman kicks him in the balls and says, all right, well, then let's get the fight started. Somebody say 1, 2, 3, go. And Redford goes, 1, 2, 3, go. And then he punches him and the fight's over. And all the guys are like, we were rooting for you the whole time, Butch.
Yeah, sure you were.
I thought that's what they would say. But
That's pretty funny. No, that's not what they said though.
what'd they say?
Catherine Ross unbuttoning her blouse in front of Robert Redford.
Okay. What are you, creepy Ralph Bailey? That's something I'd say. That is a good scene where he comes in. It's before we're introduced to Catherine Ross, who was gorgeous back then. And he comes into her home and you think he's raping her. He sits there with his gun and he tells her to undress. And then when he finally goes to hug her, she says, well, it's about time you showed up. And you realize, oh, he's not raping her. This is his girlfriend. And then the next morning they wake up, and that's when my favorite scene pops up, when Paul Newman takes her on a bicycle ride and they play Burt Bacharach's Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head. I think that's the best scene in the film. Along with, I can't swim. You can't swim. You damn fool. The fall will kill you. And then they jump off the cliff. What else you got?
Who's going to define hate speech? Trump and Pam Bondi? By the way, hate speech is legal in our country. Hate crimes are not.
Yeah, she had to back that up a lot. I had that on the rundown, and then Redford died. I was going to get into that. I keep telling you all, this is a clown show. This cabinet. I was going to get into Patel, but other things came up. He got into it with the Senate because he had to go before them. They're idiots. They're absolute idiots. I'm a Trump supporter through and through. I truly am. But this cabinet is a bunch of Yeah, the list is sitting on my desk. This is Pam Bondi. This is the gal that you think is a good attorney general. She created this whole Epstein mess by sitting there and saying on Fox News, well, the list is on my desk and we're about to get into it. And her inviting all these podcasters and influencers to the White House. She invited them and flew them into the White House and gave them booklets with information. And these people came out of the White House literally holding up the booklets like, we finally got it. They promised us. And they went home and they went through it. And they said, I've read that. I know this. I've read that in the New York Times. Hey, wait a minute. There's nothing new in this stuff. She's incompetent. I liked her from the very get-go. I didn't include her in the group that I thought was going to get whacked. Hegseth and Patel and Kennedy. I never included Pam Bondi in that. I always thought she was the one sharp tool in the shed. But now she's a moron. The listing and creating this huge, that's where the Epstein story started. When she said, I've got the list on my desk. Now she says last night, they're going to go after folks that hate crime. You can't do that. What have we been talking about all week? The test of the First Amendment is Ralph Bailey, African-American, defending a Ku Klux Klansman marching down Main Street and having a parade, or coming on my show and telling me that I'm a monkey and he's superior to me because he's Caucasian. I have to defend that if I truly believe in the First Amendment. And then the top cop of the United States says, oh, we're going to target people for hate crimes, for hate speech? Are you stupid? And of course, you beep, had to back it up today. I'm telling you, this whole cabinet, the whole bunch of them, Kennedy, Bondi, Patel, Hegseth, they just aren't qualified. I don't know if they're good people. I don't know if they'd be nice to hang out with. I don't even know if they're smart people because they don't seem it. But I'm telling you, they are utterly incompetent and they are not serving the president well. And I think the only reason he keeps them on is because they are loyal as all get out. But they create more problems for this administration than they solve. I really believe that. One more, and let's take our final break.
Stephen Miller didn't invent making a martyr out of a person, sacrificing that person, and weaponizing their death for political gain. Next is our, oh Lord, Reichstag moment? I don't know the actual on that. Reichsth.
Reichstag, yeah.
Yeah. Next, when something happens, this will give our right-wing authoritarian regime an excuse to shut down our basic rights and freedoms.
So we're fascists. That's what you're saying, basically.
That's what they've been running with.
Without using the word, you just basically called him a fascist, and that's why we're where we're at. That's why the kid wrote, "Hello, fascists, catch this." We hadn't used I had not heard that term. Had y'all heard that term 10, 15 years ago? Democrats calling Republicans fascists, or anybody calling anybody in American democracy a fascist? Really? In comparisons to the Third Reich? Really? As I said yesterday, and as we said throughout my career, stay away from the Third Reich. Why? Because it's simple. There is no group, no organization, no military, no country, no individual that will ever, let's pray, be on the level of the Third Reich, of the Nazis, of the SS, of the Gestapo. Idi Amin, who beheaded people with his own machete, who killed thousands of his own people in Uganda, is probably sitting at the same bar with Hitler, but he can't even be compared with 6 million Jews. If there's anything that you learn from this show, stay away from illusions or comparisons to the Third Reich. There is no comparison. And I'm sorry, again, I'm breaking my own freaking rule, but I don't remember hearing Republicans calling Democrats. I don't remember. We said lock her up, but we never called Hillary a Nazi. We never called her a fascist. We called her a criminal, which she is. But I'm sorry. I tend to agree with the president. I think this is somewhat one-sided. I really do. I heard, who's the big mouth from Texas, the black girl that I always allude to? I can't remember her name. Crockett, Congresswoman Crockett. I heard her last night, basically, in very subtle terms, blaming Republicans for this. It is I think it's irreparable. I really do. I think we're going through an era that we're just going to have to live with, where we're going to have to live with school shootings, mass shootings, and political violence. And again, like I said, this ain't nothing new. It just hasn't happened as often, but 1865, 1960, 1968, 1968, 1981. Don't forget about Ronald Reagan. He lived, but he got shot. This isn't anything new. We are a violent country who has twice as many guns as human beings. And now we have a pandemic. We have an absolute raging pandemic, and it ain't COVID, and it ain't even the measles. It's mental illness. And the saddest thing about our pandemic, it is impacting children 18 to about 25. And we're just going to have to live through it. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. I pray to God, honest to goodness, that I am absolutely wrong. I just don't think I am. I really don't. As sad as that is. And once again, I have ended the show on a sad note. Maybe we'll talk to Chris more about his Las Vegas trip when we come back. Wrap this thing up. Sushi tonight. Bento Express. Because what night is it, Chris?
It is.
Don't say it. Don't get it wrong. That's Friday. That's Friday. What are you saying? That's right, boy.
Yeah.
I keep begging Randy to watch it. He just won't. I don't understand it. Tonight's a good one. Tonight the girls go at it, Jack. I'm telling you guys, just come on. Come on, dig down deep. Just one time, 7. I think it's already, I think it's on right now, but then they repeat it at 7 o'clock. Come on, screw the Dodgers. The Phillies are going to kill us. Screw the Dodgers. Just once. Just once. Watch Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. What is it on? MTV? I don't know. Go through your guide. It's in the, I don't know. You got guides. Just at 7 o'clock, scroll through your guide and do me a favor and just watch this one episode and call the show tomorrow. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. Please, I'm asking you. I'd ask Burdick, but he ain't gonna do it.
It's VH1, by the way.
VH1. Would you watch it? Are you gonna watch it? You got something to do tonight?
No.
You got nothing to do?
I got stuff to do tonight.
Oh. No. And Randy won't watch it. He said, I might watch 10 minutes. I go, just 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes. Huh?
A 5.4 out of 10.
What?
On the rankings.
The show does?
The show does.
Who rated that?
Let's find out. IMDb.
5.4 out of 10?
Nope.
That is an F.
1,000 reviews.
That is a flat out F. They done lost their minds. I give it a solid 8. I can't give it a 9 or 10 because it's millionaire black people acting stupid, and there's a part of it that's kind of embarrassing. But I suspend my disbelief and just enjoy. And all the black women are hotter than Irish mustard. Probably why creepy old Ralph Bailey watches it, but it's good drama, Jack. It's great drama. The guy that had the threesome and got one of the girls pregnant, he's now fighting her because he dumped her and he's with somebody else, and she now wants to leave Atlanta and go to New York, but he's doing the Michael Corleone. Don't you know I would never let you take my babies out of Atlanta, Georgia? It's a good one tonight. Just do a black man a favor. Just watch it one time. Quick time out. Keep it locked. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KRN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. It's the JR Show.
So Gavin Newsom wants to counteract what Texas is doing in their redistricting by trying to take the power back from an independent council so he can redistrict the California line. Matter of fact, he's so confident that he's ready to put it before the voters. He keeps saying, don't poke the bear.
God, I haven't seen this in a long time.
We are.
Somebody getting a jump? I haven't seen that in a long time.
You, sir, will have egg on your face.
The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money.
How can you run your battery down in the 21st century?
In a year.
Because the lights go off automatically, right?
You have have to download
The lights don't go off
Upside,
automatically?
the free app that gives you cash back.
I got to
every
find
time
out
you
how
get
his
gas.
battery died.
Sorry,
I got to.
headlights do, but inside lights won't.
Ready buying. You
I
can
gotta find
literally
out.
Start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back?
Your
If you like
battery
free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash
What
I
the
earn
fuck
from
would you
using
put on?
Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now.
Just
to
a whole
earn cash
battery?
back every time you buy gas. Use promo code CHIEF to get an extra 25 cents per gallon.
Your
on
battery
first
is
tank. You
2011?
can cash out anytime. Right to your
Oh.
bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon.
What do y'all have
and other
problems with?
brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code CHIEF for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code CHIEF for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. $5,000. That's the average amount of
Well,
money
be careful,
people in
don't
the
let 'em
U.S.
touch.
are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying.
I
You
thought
can
red was
literally
negative.
start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting
Okay.
gas in your car anyway. Why
As
not
long as you
get
have
real
red on
cash
red and
back?
red on
If you
red,
like
it doesn't
free
matter
money,
whether it's positive.
download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code
That should be
PARTY5
enough
to get up
juice.
to a $5 bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code PARTY5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank. That's code PARTY5 to get up to a $5
These two
bonus on
knuckleheads
your
are about to
first
kill
tank.
themselves.
Are you looking for a hospital that
They can't
truly
figure it
cares
out.
for your
They
health
can't
and
get to the
well-being?
one thing.
At
I
Good
go,
Samaritan
you
Hospital,
don't need them
they
both
provide
on. You should have
high-quality
enough
medical
juice
detox,
just to
psychiatric
put the
services,
negative
and
on.
medical and surgical care. They accept most
On the
insurances, including Medi-Cal,
yeah.
Medicare, and Kern Family.
And that
They
should be
offer
enough
Kern
juice.
County's longest-standing inpatient detox program with dual diagnosis
No.
that combines medical care
I
and
told you.
withdrawal management all under one roof. Learn more at GoodSamaritanHospital.com.
His car is a
or call
2011.
661-215-7500. Good Samaritan Hospital.
Yeah,
They care for their
absolutely.
community.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third
Yeah.
generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
The Armstrong and Getty Show, weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to
Good. 842-5376, 842-KERN. Want to thank, ooh, excuse me. Hiccups on the air. Oh, Lord, I got hiccups. My dad used to have the ultimate, God, I wish I could talk to him. He had the ultimate hiccup
Cure.
And it had something to do with your equilibrium and bending over and something. And I took it to college with me and would stun people with it. It was like a party trick. Like literally, guys would come to my door and, hey, Lewis told me that you can fix my hiccups. And I go, yeah, come in. Now bend over and put something about your ears and
Equilibrium sounds
yes,
right.
there's something about your equilibrium that can offset hiccups.
I would assume because your body is more towards, or I'm sorry, the top of your body is more towards the ground. Maybe your diaphragm
That's
is bent in a different
that's
way.
all I remember. It had something to do with bending over and putting your fingers in your ears.
It kind of reminds me of popping your ears during a
Yeah,
long trip.
yeah, I can't remember. Anyway, what else? Let's read a couple text messages. Get Sam on here.
I'm curious if Burdick rode in the same car as JR and what he thought about his driving.
Did he do like 100? Who drove?
But again,
He drove?
we were manageable, okay? It wasn't nothing crazy.
Well, you drive this hella fast as well. Not quite as fast as JR. And
I'm
neither
going to
one of you drive as fast as Brian Thomas.
I know.
Who I used to literally He literally made it home from Tehachapi, and I'm going to probably exaggerate because it's been a couple of years, but we did a game in Tehachapi, and he had me on downtown, I think in like 45, 50 minutes.
Dang.
We were doing 90 coming down that hill, and I literally just had to close my eyes and pretend I was asleep. I was so freaking scared.
No, we were laughing about that on the way home. It's like, if Ralph ends up going to one of these, he's going to have to drive with you. And he looked at me and said, "You're right. That's going to be a 4-hour car ride with Ralph in the car."
I don't know if I can do it.
That's what he said
At
too. He's
my
like, I don't know if
age,
he can do it.
I'd have to take like a Valium or a Xanax and
Well,
sleep.
I also told him, if you guys could figure out the money or whatever the case, why not just fly?
That's the way I always go. It's the
Saves you the
cheap.
trip.
It's a cheap shot. We can get a round trip ticket for
Like
$1.
$70, yeah.
Yep, $1 at tops. That's what I'm saying.
At the same time, like it's the exact same amount of money you would have paid for gas.
Yeah. And you guys did the show from your hotel room, is that right?
Just like you usually do with
With
Honor we
Firefly?
hooked up the Comrex and just did them from the show. or
From the
from-
Strat. What'd you think of the Strat? Was that the first
I
time
actually
you
liked it. I liked it a
told
lot.
you. Told
Especially
you.
for the rates you were paying and all that. It's a nice hotel. My only issue.
Did you go into the sports bar?
It did. It was really nice. My
Mhm.
only issue though is one, we both agreed the casino's kind of small.
It is, but I like that.
I kind of like it too. It's a little quaint and
Uh-huh.
quieter. But two, it's so far away from everything else.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
like a $15, $16 Uber ride to the Golden Nugget, and we were like, nah, I'd rather
Yeah.
use that here.
Remember I said that. Because remember I said I tried to walk it and had to call an Uber about halfway there. I didn't realize how far it was. You're absolutely right. For Chris Burdick, I'm Ralph Bailey. That's what's really going on. We'll wrap to you tomorrow.
This is AM 1180.
What do I do with all this stuff? Do you want any of this stuff? This lotion and chapstick and oil and I don't know. I know. I'll leave it right here, and anybody that wants it can take it. Anybody that wants it, I want this luggage thing. I'll put that on my bag. And the mints. Oh, I need that. My bad hoobah.
You're ready. I'm sorry, I'm ready.
And I'll give these to Lily. Ooh, and I'll steal the gift bag. Oh, it says California Living Museum on it. That sucks. I always need gift bags. All right. 3, 2. I think it's just about impossible to name Robert Redford's greatest film. I didn't realize what a prolific director he was, directing Ordinary People, where he won an Oscar. The River Runs Through It. And did you know that he also directed Bagger Vance? But I got to say, my absolute favorite Robert Redford movie, Barefoot in the Park with Jane Fonda, a Neil Simon play. It's a typical Ralph Bailey rom-com. 3, 2, it's that man again. Look what's coming up on the Wednesday TRBS. Well, we'll obviously have more on the charges leveled against the alleged killer of Charlie Kirk. It's a Wednesday, so our former federal agent Howard Marcus will chime in. And it's day one of the Great Kern County Fair. All that, me at 3. It's TRBS. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KRN. I'll see you at 3.
On crime. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 125 points. More at townhall.com.
Guess who's watching Rob Finnerty on Newsmax? President Trump is. He even says Finnerty's show is so terrific. Millions are joining President Trump to watch Finnerty every night at 8 p.m. Eastern on Newsmax. All this week, Rob looks at the media's war on President Trump. Rob gives you the facts about the National Guard in cities like New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles. He tells you the real truth about the Jeffrey Epstein files, and he reveals the big media's agenda on Trump's health. You need to watch Rob Finnerty on Newsmax. Check out your local cable system. Newsmax is on all major systems. Or download the free Newsmax app. It costs you nothing, and you can watch in minutes. Finnerty is the fastest growing primetime news show in America. Find out why even President Trump is tuning in. More than 40 million Americans go to Newsmax for news they can trust. Because we are real news for real people.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins. Cal State University Bakersfield assistant basketball coach Kevin Mays is facing child pornography charges. According to court documents, Mays had over 600 child sex abuse images on his cell
Thank you, guys.
Some
We'll
with
see you tomorrow.
girls as young as 4 years old. Child porn images were discovered on his phone while he was under investigation for human trafficking. Records also show that Mays was part of an encrypted chat for those seeking to trade child sex abuse images. A total of 3,000 images were found. A man is dead after being hit by 2 different vehicles on Union Avenue. Bakersfield police